learn more, visit InfoWarsHealth.com. The site is literally packed with audio and video featuring top health professionals who don't bow down to big pharma. The fight against the New World Order starts with you, and you can't stand against the machine if you're sick, tired, and obese. When you visit InfoWarsHealth.com, be sure and check out the catalog with nearly 400 life-changing products and get free shipping when you sign up for AutoShip.
Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
It's your responsibility to sign up at healthcare.gov and be data mined, and then have the IRS garnish your wages and double and triple your prices. And it's trendy. LeBron James is supporting it, along with a bunch of other Hollywood stars like Leonardo DiCaprio. So you've got to get behind it, ladies and gentlemen. I've actually been monitoring mainstream dinosaur media, and I just see the ads on every channel, basically, with different sports figures and rock and roll people and movie stars promoting Obamacare. And so I'm going to be talking some about that today. I saw one yesterday. We've got it right now. We're going to play it in a second. LeBron James, known as Baby Bron, because he likes to cry constantly when he loses. Him and Boehner ought to hang out together and cry together constantly. The point is that he's out there saying, hey, get signed up. You know, it's your responsibility. And they've got all these things where these bossy mother types are telling their kids, you've got to get signed up. So now it's a bullying enslavement, and it's no longer free. In fact, it costs a lot more, and it doesn't cover pre-existing conditions. It's a giant screw job, but it doesn't matter. If you're with the crew, if you're really cool, you sign up for it. And here's LeBron James, who literally is a delusional person that thinks he's God because he can put a ball in a basket, sitting here lecturing everyone how they need to go sign up for the giant screw job that is Obamacare.
Hi, I'm LeBron James. I know how important it is to take care of yourself, your friends, and your family.
So sign up for death care.
That's why I want to tell you about the health insurance marketplace at healthcare.gov.
I want to tell you about death panels.
You can go there to find an affordable health plan as part of the healthcare law.
I'm LeBron James.
The deadline to enroll is March 31st.
Foreign banks rule the earth.
Sign up now.
They wrote it.
You never know when you might take a hit.
Get covered.
Spread the word and get covered today.
You never know when you might take a hit. Like when you go there and get your vaccine for your baby and it has a convulsion and never talks. Hey, your 18-month-old's running around talking, having a great time, saying ABC. Go get covered with shots. Your kid ain't ever going to talk again, and they're going to die of brain cancer at age 10. How's that sound? Get covered by the New World Order. Get murdered right now. Go get an abortion right now. Kill all the black babies right now. Get covered in blood from the New World Order. I'm LeBron James. This message brought to you by Satan. That would be a more honest piece there. So we're going to be playing that again today. And I think I'm going to record a real healthcare.gov commercial saying get covered. And I'm just going to list everything. Get covered in death panels. Get covered in euthanasia. Get covered in tripled pricing. Get covered in total surveillance in your healthcare records being public. Get covered today, or you're racist. You're racist. Our Lord and Savior, Barack Obama. Oh, I love it. Oh. Jamie Foxx looks like he's having an orgasm. He goes, Barack Obama. It's like whenever... Judge Smales in Caddyshack, written by the great author of Ghostbusters as well, who just passed, whenever he pulls Billy out, the special putter, and he makes the putt, that's what all these Obama idiots look like constantly when they have reflected glory of their president and they're in charge and they're the bosses and they're part of the winning team. No, you're chumps getting taken for a long, bad ride. Billy, Billy, Billy. And then when he makes the putt, he goes, Billy, Billy. Can we find that on YouTube, maybe? Judge Smales and Billy Judge Smails and his putter, I bet's the name of it. Billy. I love to channel Judge Smails. What about you? In fact, sometimes I call in my employees' meetings and conduct the entire meeting as Judge Smails. I said to the criminal, you haven't been drinking on the job, have you? Because the drinks I hear you've been having are not very good drinks at all, and that's an absolute crime. Gambling is illegal at Bushwood. Why does the United States spend the largest percentage of GDP in the world on healthcare? Why do we have the highest cancer rates on the planet, the highest rates of diabetes, autism, and every other major disease? It all comes down to one thing. We are what we eat. Our food is devoid of nutrition and processed with poisons and additives. Our water is filled with toxic poisons and big pharma runoff. All of this has been engineered by design. We can turn the tide against the eugenicist by giving ourselves the nutrients our body desperately needs. To learn more, visit InfoWarsHealth.com. The site is literally packed with audio and video featuring top health professionals who don't bow down to big pharma. The fight against the New World Order starts with you, and you can't stand against the machine if you're sick, tired, and obese. When you visit InfoWarsHealth.com, be sure and check out the catalog with nearly 400 life-changing products and get free shipping when you sign up for AutoShip. In the last 50 years, iodine has been phased out of our staple foods and replaced with the halogen bromine, a practice now banned in nations around the world. Guess what else is in the halogen family? Fluoride. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. In 1924, the federal government did the right thing and encouraged salt producers to add iodine. It's the good halogen on the periodic table, and the results are on record. Reports documented a 15-point IQ increase in areas that had previously been deficient in iodine. Bottom line, iodine is important. Unbound, clean, in a glycerin base. Nascent iodine was the answer for myself and my family. You will find Survival Shield Nascent Iodine exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWars Life Survival Shield Nascent Iodine isn't just for emergencies. I take it every day. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. Introducing Pro One. All of your filtration in one system, portable, on the go. No more do you have 2 or 3 filters to just reduce sodium fluoride. You have a system that cuts out the sodium fluoride and up to 95% of hydrofluorosilicic acid. Advanced manufacturing technology combines silver-impregnated white ceramic with new Aquamedics advanced media for removal of fluoride and other heavy metals, all in one filter element. It is the only one that does it, and out of the gate, we have it discounted at 10% off with promo code WATER. This is the only system that in one unit helps reduce or remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, ammonia, and chlorine, hydrofluorosilicic acid, the most common form of fluoride not covered by other fluoride filter brands, and sodium hexafluorosilicate. Get your Pro Pure with the new Pro One filters today at InfoWarsStore.com or by calling 888-253-3139.
Well, I have been pushed. I think it's about time that somebody teach these varmints a little lesson about morality and about what it's like to be a decent, upstanding member of a society.
Any way you want it, it's the way you need it, any way you want it.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. It's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Judge Smails is with us now live.
Hold me down, Billy. $30,000, Billy.
I was just talking about that in the last segment. All these Democrats literally keep jumping around like they're winning something because Obama is in charge and wrecking the country and screwing them with Obamacare and tax increases and payroll taxes on poor people. 7 taxes on the working class and poor. On record, 7 taxes. Breaking every promise, hiring more lobbyists, funding al-Qaeda publicly, Benghazi, the list goes on, trashing the dollar. And they worship him as the second coming of Christ. as Jamie Foxx says he's our Lord and Savior, and then literally starts acting like Judge Smells from Caddyshack, going, oh, 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 Barack Obama. It goes on and on and on. I mean, how do you like everyone getting a payroll tax increase under Obamacare? How do you like everyone facing the prospect of losing their doctor and having the prices double, triple, or quadruple? Humana in Texas up 500 and something % on average. And then they sit there and go, well, our master plan is to actually wreck healthcare and bring in true socialism. They're not going to bring you true socialism, morons. True socialism never exists and never will. The elites convince you to give over your hard-earned work product and that they're going to redistribute it to you. And then you're so poor, surviving off the little dribble they give you back, that you end up believing that you're living in a good world when you're actually a domesticated animal in a cage being fed. And that's what this comes down to, ladies and gentlemen. All right, what are we going to get into today? First thing I started getting into was Obamacare, because I saw this LeBron James TV ad, and I've been seeing all these other movie stars and rock and roll people and sports figures out promoting it, that you need to go sign up right now. And in the case of LeBron James, I don't think he's very smart. In fact, I've heard him give interviews. He sounds extremely stupid. And whereas you've got other folks who early on were critical of Obama because they went under pressure, Charles Barkley, and are now supportive of him. Charles Barkley, of course, knows full well, and 3 years ago spoke out against Obamacare. And now he doesn't because he's basically sold out. It's very shameful. But anybody that's run businesses or anybody that has a high IQ or even a mid-level IQ knows that this is a total screw job. That's why I get mad at a Leonardo DiCaprio or a person like, there's a lot of other examples out there. Jamie Foxx, I've heard him do interviews. He's real smart. He still gets behind the Obama bandwagon because they want to be part of the, quote, winning team and screw everybody else. But I can't really get mad at LeBron James. He literally is a sucker idiot being conned into, quote, helping humanity by going out and pushing on young people who the White House admits is their main strategy because they aren't reading the bill and aren't reading the newspaper and don't know what's in the law. And so they want to get them signed up so they can be screwed by Obamacare. And they're going, oh, it's not too much. It's only $300 a month or so. Yeah, health care was about $100 a month for somebody under 30 before Obamacare passed. Now it's $200, $300, and it's projected to be $600 for the average person below 30 or so within 2 years. So you get ready to have $600 grabbed out of your bank account every month, one way or another. Because if you don't go get the health care and pay it, the IRS is going to say, well, you waived all your rights and came and signed up at Obamacare at healthcare.gov, and the 17,000 agents they hired 3 years ago are going to go suck the money out of your account. And we pointed that was going out and happening in the legislation. People said, that's a conspiracy theory. There's no plan for the IRS to take your wages or bank account or garnishment. Well, then last month, they put on the IRS website, irs.gov, really a private collection agency for the private Federal Reserve, but regardless, it has government powers. They came out and they said, oh, yeah, we're going to start jerking the money out of your account, and then we'll have penalties and interest on it, if you haven't paid it when we jerk your account. So it's not going to be $5,000 a year. It's going to be 10, 15, 20,000. We might wait 3-4 years and let the penalties and interest build up before we snatch your bank account. Then we'll do settlement deals with you. Isn't that a sweet thing for the poor? Well, our healthcare system was in trouble, so we had to do something. Yeah, it was in trouble because big banks took control of it in the last 50 years and started creating different scams to bilk the public, and now it's expanding to a mega level. Kevin Trudeau, who I met twice because I wanted to see who he really was, is a con artist, undoubtedly, and he's been sentenced to 10 years in prison last night, not so much for his infomercials, but for refusing to change claims and violating court orders. And I met him, and he was undoubtedly full of prunes, as Dan Rather would say. I went to dinner with him once, and I said, did you really go to Area 51 and see space aliens? As he wrote in one of his books, he looked at me point blank and said, yes, I did see the space aliens. And I said, I think we're done with dinner, and no, I'm not going to be interviewing you anymore. I interviewed him twice, and I said, I support the First Amendment, but I do not support what you're doing with it, so that means I'm not going to support you. And he would send me Christmas cards and things like that, thereafter. I'm not throwing him under the bus. The point is, how is he going to prison for fat diets that I looked at, and quite frankly, if you actually followed it, I think you would lose weight. You know, he said natural cures they don't want you to know about. I don't know if they're cures, but certainly it's been proven that mass dosages of vitamin C, Linus Pauling won the the Nobel Prize for it twice, but one of them was for that, finding it can really reduce cancer. I mean, you need to go to prison for 10 years for that? See, they can go put him in jail and make themselves look good, like in Scarface where he says, you need me to be the bad man. So you can point your finger and go, there's the bad man. When the truth is, it's the banks and the system that have been running it all for thousands of years, and you guys are the real criminals. But you need me to point your finger at and say, there's the bad man. And that is exactly what's going on here. Martha Stewart did nothing, and they put her in prison. Kevin Trudeau, because I didn't really know who Kevin Trudeau was. I'd seen his infomercials and thought they were pretty reasonable about, St. John's wort's good for depression. I've seen the mainline studies on that. Vitamin C is good for not getting cancer. Everybody knows that. But then I discovered over the years, after I had him on a couple of times, people sent me all the info. In this book, he says he met with aliens. Went and looked at it, really said that. Did you know over here, he mails out these letters saying, join this group, and we'll send you a bunch of, tips on how to join the Illuminati. And sure enough, I was like, whoa, this is incredible. But my point is, Kevin Trudeau compared to Obama and the globalist and Rahm Emanuel's brother that helped write the bill saying, oh, we wanted to wreck healthcare on Fox. That is our plan. The insurance companies know that. And they want to be on the team in the future where they're going to administer the single payer where you've got to pay whatever they say. That's the opposite of socialism. That is foreign offshore corporations taxing us directly as the Supreme Court ruled on Obamacare. So it really gets stuck in my craw, a burr in my saddle, a grain of sand in my oyster, that the mass crime is going on, cancer, viruses, and the vaccines, forced medication with fluoride in the water, forced sterilizations at prisons, on record, LA Times, ongoing. All these huge crimes going on, Federal Reserve laundering hundreds of billions in drug money conservatively a year. It's on record. Nobody gets in trouble. But if you get caught with a pill of, say, ecstasy or something, which is really bad for you, I don't think you should take it. The point is, though, that's your own personal life. You're going to spend a year in prison probably. When the government is on record shipping in masses of the ecstasy out of Israel, you name it, every single day. They ship the opium in, all of it. And I'm tired of it. And it's the same thing with putting Kevin Trudeau in prison. Good, throw him in prison. But he's a precedent-setting case. To go after other people for their free speech is very dangerous. But hey, let's put Obama and Hillary Clinton in prison first. And then way down the line, we can get to Kevin Trudeau. Who, by the way, ought to make a movie about him. I mean, you talk about a BSer, man. Go to dinner with that guy. Went to dinner with him at the Four Seasons, him and his wife. Wearing this big old diamond ring, this suit, like a $5,000 suit. I'm sitting there in a T-shirt. And I mean, just unbelievable levels of BS. But nothing compared to LeBron James rolling out a moron to sell enslavement and signing on to Obamacare. Here's that clip.
Hi, I'm LeBron James. I know how important it is to take care of yourself, your friends, and your family.
That's why death panels.
That's why I want to tell you about the health insurance marketplace at healthcare.gov.
Get signed up so the IRS can suck you dry.
You can go there to find an affordable health plan as part of the healthcare law.
Yes, it's very affordable.
The deadline to enroll is March 31st.
It's like the Patriot Act. It's patriotic.
You never know when you might take a hit.
The deadline.
Spread the word and get covered today.
By the way, it was all covered by Charity Care. It was all covered by the emergency room hospitals, most of which are, quote, charity hospitals and tax exempt and are supposed to do at least half their care for free. Regular hospitals are supposed to do between 10 and 30% free. That was taught in all medical schools until 20 years ago. They've gotten rid of the Hippocratic Oath, all of it. You've got this, they're getting rid of our health care folks, and you're now finding that out. Oh, you don't get a knee surgery now, you get a cane. You don't get cataract surgery, you get a cane. That's what a manual says. You get a cane. You get a cane upside your head.
Silver has always been nature's very own antibiotic, and only one system allows you to generate an endless supply of natural silver solutions. SilverLungs.com. You'll find no wild claims or pseudoscience, just a lifetime of nano-sized pure silver solutions. The Silver Lungs generator allows you to make your own, so stop paying for silver solutions. The unique lung delivery system targets respiratory infections where other silver solutions simply cannot reach. See the Silver Lungs generator and lung delivery system at SilverLungs.com. That's SilverLungs.com.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit and carting to a private bank, having it lent back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Ted Anderson, I'm placing a free silver dollar in a book that explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
Right now at Emergency Essentials, get free shipping on every order over $150. And that's not all. We have the guaranteed lowest prices anywhere, like our new Farmers Market vegetable combo that's on sale for 50% off. That's 6 cans of freeze-dried veggies for only $79.99. Or get Mountain House pork chops for 22% off. Call Emergency Essentials at 800-999-1863 or click BePrepared.com. The choice is clear. Be unprepared or BePrepared.com.
Jessica Armand here, creator of My Magic Mud, the all-natural teeth whitener and strengthening remedy that's getting rave reviews from GCN listeners. Here's what Austin dentist Dr. Griffin Cole has to say about it.
I really love this Magic Mud product. Because charcoal is so absorbent, it's very effective at taking off all the sticky plaque and debris that gets stuck on our teeth every day. I highly recommend My Magic Mud.
Visit mymagicmud.com to hear the full interview with Dr. Cole. Get your jar today. That's mymagicmud.com.
A 30-day GMO-free emergency food supply for only $99 at 30dayfoodsupply.com. You can purchase Oregon Trail Foods' 1-month supply of high-quality, nutritious, and healthy emergency meals. For less than $100, these vegetarian meals are naturally high in fiber, carbs, and protein, and they're packed with oxygen absorbers in Mylar pouches. They're completely free of any artificial flavors and colorings, have a 20-year shelf life, and take up to 70% less space than number 10 cans. They even offer a gluten-free option. Oregon Trail Foods and 30dayfoodsupply.com keep prices low by buying directly from the producers in Oregon and then passing the savings to you. Purchase a 30-day, 90-serving emergency food supply for only $99 this month, and $10 ships your entire order. Visit the website at 30dayfoodsupply.com or call 541-229-0010. That's 30dayfoodsupply.com, where they make preparedness affordable. 30dayfoodsupply.com.
Attention gun owners. It's reasonable to assume that at some point you may need to defend your family from an armed attack. But is it reasonable to mount a defense without a strong offense? Infidel Body Armor goes on in seconds. Is civilian legal in all 50 states. Is 100% made in the USA. Is veteran owned and ships next business day for free. Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com. INFIDEL BodyArmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
It's already too late. Criminals have kicked in your door and are now in your home. Before this happens, homeowners have a choice. 1, do nothing and hope you aren't one of the 1.4 million families attacked each year. Or 2, refuse to be a victim. And for as low as $59, reinforce your doors with Door Devils. Door Devils simply attach to existing door frames and have proven to stop the biggest bad guys from kicking in doors. Read our police testimonials of real-life events at DoorDevil.com. Alarms don't stop kick-ins. We do. DoorDevil.com.
I was sitting in traffic, listening to the radio. George Strait was singing seashores of old Mexico.
All right, folks, we are back live. Coming up, Ron Paul, Crimea secedes, so what? Russia and Crimea Parliament signed Treaty of Accession. Crimea Prime Minister mocks Lord Obama, the Lord and Savior, according to Jamie Foxx, in faked Russian uniform on Twitter. Crowdhammer's take, Obama is being ridiculed by Russians. I'll tell you what I think about that. I don't agree with that. Putin says U.S. guided by the rule of the gun in foreign policy. Biden in Europe to reassure our allies over Russia's move in Ukraine. Obama says Putin is at his breaking point and says Putin must pull back on Crimea. Well, that's not happening. Markets are continuing to rally across the world on word that the sanctions are not too draconian. Yeah, because folks don't want a new Cold War and perhaps larger regional or even thermonuclear global Armageddon-level catastrophes. So I'm going to be getting to all that coming up in the next segment. Also, we're going to get into how all this ties together with Israel's defense chief says the U.S. is projecting weakness. That is not what's happening. And it's like a way to snipe at Obama to claim he's weak. They're not weak. They're incredibly evil, like a case of brain cancer, and are taking over the planet right now. As Obama is just a figurehead, he has to be brought down politically because he is the slogan, the idea of making tyranny and global empire trendy. So I'm going to break down what's really going on from my perspective, which I'm not trying to brag here. I'm just telling you my perspective is accurate on this. This is the globalist system. It's not my opinion on what's happening here. Up on Infowars.com, some of the other news. By the way, this already scrolled off Infowars.com from last night. So much of our best stuff goes up in the evening, and I never get to it. Will you guys print me? Because I didn't see it in the stacks. It's probably here. I probably missed it. I got here late today. Will you guys pull me the article about the professor that wants to arrest anyone that denies global warming and doesn't want to pay Al Gore money? DrudgeReport.com still has it up. I appreciate DrudgeReport.com carrying that. I'd like to carry that here on my own show. I'd like to cover that coming up as well. It's in my stack. I missed that stack. All right, well, I'll find it. The point is, we're going to be getting to that too. ATF agent says raiding gun store was fun. That's up on Infowars.com. Very disgusting article we're going to be covering. Again, we're going to get into what's also happening with what will happen when the big one hits California. I've got to cover that earthquake article by Michael Snyder that's excellent. And a lot more is up on Infowars.com. We're also going to get to this report out of the WashingtonPost.com. I've told you this for a long time because it was in the Telecommunications Act of '96. Again, I'm not imagining this and then just being right over and over again. I'd love to be psychic, but we're all intuitive and have a sixth sense to a certain degree, but not to this level. NSA surveillance program reaches into the past to retrieve and replay phone calls, and then buried in the article, the headline should be, NSA records every phone call and saves them forever. That's why I like DrudgeReport.com, because in the article in the Washington Post, they admit that later in the article. That should be the headline. What did Drudge headline it? NSA recorded every single call in the country. You understand? That's how they operate. And it's not just a giant screw job. And it's not just used for political and economic control by select interest unfairly. And the ultimate form of discrimination. It also cost, they estimate, $100 billion a year. And then you've got the defense budget at $600+ billion and supplemental $400 billion. It's like $1 trillion+. If you look at all the different budgets together, it just keeps expanding and getting bigger and bigger. Then you got all the black budgets together. I mean, it is just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars. In fact, no one really knows. That's why CBS News reported back in September 10th, 2001, look it up, that $2.2 trillion was missing from the Pentagon and no one knows where it went. $2.2 trillion. Last time I checked, it was like $5 trillion now missing. No one knows where it's gone. Oh, but there's no corruption. Oh, let's put Kevin Trudeau in jail. Let's not let people make their own decisions about someone and what book they're selling and what the claims they're making. Let's throw him in jail. Oh, yes, federal government. You've really put the bad man in prison now. Oh, 10 years. We're all very safe now. This is like Satan going out and finding some petty thief and putting him on trial and flaying him. And everyone says, oh, thank you, Satan, for keeping us safe. And Satan says, that's what I do. I fight crime. I found someone who stole a bubble gum.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Alex Jones here with a message to fellow freedom lovers. The prognosis for the entire planetary economic system runs from bad to worse. The globalist model is to shut down societies and starve patriots out until they acquiesce to the global takeover. That's why we've assembled the most vital and important preparedness items at InfoWarsShop.com. These are items that I did research on, that I personally use. We've got the Life Straw, so you can turn fetid water into safe water anywhere you go. The K-Tor hand crank generator to charge up key equipment during power outages or out in the field. Strategic Relocation, 3rd edition by Joel Skousen. When Disaster Strikes by Matthew Stein. ThyroSafe, used by Homeland Security to protect yourself during any radiological event. Hand crank shortwave AM/FM radios. Everything that we've researched and found to be the best is available at InfoWarsShop.com, and your purchase makes our InfoWar possible. We're getting prepared. Are you? InfoWarsShop.com. Alex Jones here to tell you about how you can help spread liberty worldwide while also enjoying what I have found to be the best tasting 100% organic coffee on the planet. For more than a decade, my favorite coffee has come from the high mountains of southern Mexico, where the Chiapas farmers grow their unique shade-grown Arabica beans. We have now managed to secure these sought-after beans in a highly customized blend. Discover and try a bag of the Patriot Blend 100% organic coffee at InfoWarsLife.com. This coffee gives you a long, smooth pick-me-up for hours without the headaches and heartburn that so many other coffees give me personally. Hands down, this is my favorite coffee, and it's taken us years to secure connections directly to the Chiapas Mexican farmers. Drop by the site today, order a bag or two, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Available in original or with our Immune Support Infusion Blend. You will be supporting a free press, all the while enjoying a truly great-tasting cup of my favorite coffee. Available at InfoWarsLife.com. In the last 50 years, iodine has been phased out of our staple foods and replaced with the halogen bromine, a practice now banned in nations around the world. Guess what else is in the halogen family? Fluoride. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. In 1924, the federal government did the right thing and encouraged salt producers to add iodine. It's the good halogen on the periodic table, and the results are on record. Reports documented a 15-point IQ increase in areas that had previously been deficient in iodine. Bottom line, iodine is important. Unbound, clean, in a glycerin base. Nascent iodine was the answer for myself and my family. You will find Survival Shield Nascent Iodine exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWars Life Survival Shield Nascent Iodine isn't just for emergencies. I take it every day. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
We now take you live to the Central Texas Command Center and the heart of the resistance, rallying patriots worldwide. You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
The great crime of using celebrity, using cult of personality to sell, impoverishing the poorest Americans and working class people to the greatest extent this nation has probably ever seen. Obamacare on record raises 7 taxes on people making below $30,000 a year. And many of you out there that are working class folks, with all the fines, fees, and regulations that are going bankrupt right now, you are now experiencing the fraud that is the plan to bankrupt this country and force you onto welfare as a supplemental income. And the White House has said, and they're telling employers, under Obamacare, you're being cut from 40 hours to less than 30. Under Obamacare, you're still not exempt. You've got to pay for it all. You've got to get off that older plan that was affordable. Suddenly it's unaffordable. That's okay. Go on Medicare. Go on Medicaid. That's okay. Here are government-issued guidelines that the Department of Health and Human Services is putting out in the last 3 years, telling you how to go get on food stamps and get your card, your government card. And people who for generations have never gone on welfare, might have gone on unemployment sometimes when they were out of work. Factories are shut down. The other jobs are disappearing. The service jobs being undercut, being replaced by foreign workers. And so you go in and you get your welfare card. And then they go, psychological evaluation comes with this. Go to our government psychologist. We say you're mentally ill. Go on these drugs. We're taking your welfare. Now we're going to take your guns. Now we're going to take your kids. This is the domestication process. This is slavery. This is how they militarily, through economics, in a economic war of sanctions against the American people, that's all this is economic siege, bring this country down. And they've said the only hope they've got to get Obamacare through is to have all the movie stars and Hollywood people and sports icons like LeBron James, who just broke the 60 baskets in a game record. Oh, my gosh, it's so incredible. It's so amazing. We better go sign up, even though it's just so the IRS can track us and rob our bank account. I'm going to do it because LeBron said so. And look, Obama smiles at him. And it's okay if they stick a knife in your stomach. It's okay because they're smiling, and it's about winning. And they're targeting black folks. Hey, the president's black, LeBron's black. Got a lot of pride in these folks. Get on the site and sign up. Come on. We're going to build more abortion clinics and get state funding for that as well. We're going to kill all the black people. It's so liberal. Doesn't matter because LeBron's got a nice smile. And the media says that it's all that matters. And so we've got to do what LeBron says. Jamie Foxx said it. He's our Lord and Savior. Maybe we should find that clip again. He's our Lord and Savior, Barack Obama. Doesn't matter. He works for foreign banks. Doesn't matter the country's being totally destroyed. Doesn't matter we're being completely shut down. Because all that matters is sports and Hollywood. And that's all the average American knows, so you're going to be enslaved. But you're so dumb, you won't even know you're being enslaved. You're just like LeBron. The average American's just like LeBron. Narcissistic, childlike smile, like they're 5 dressed up like Batman at their birthday party, and or they're the 5-year-old getting a ride with the cops because they won an award. I saw that in the news to be Batman, and the kids look so proud, have that same narcissistic glow in their eye. A kid's supposed to be narcissistic to create their own identity, self-actuate, become their own person. But as you become older, you're supposed to become less narcissistic and more about humanity and building systems and being honorable. You're still an individual, but it is more the larger honor system of being part of honorable men and women throughout history. That is really the paramount room that you enter. It is the Dark Tower. The child rolling to the Dark Tower came. There for a brief moment, illuminated by the sun going through the clouds. You could see them all the men. This one was brave. This one was fortunate. This one was honorable, emblazoned. And I knew them and they knew me. Dauntless, lifted the slug horn to my lips and blew. You can never take that away. The average man, though, I mean, men, I've read every culture's writings, of every culture that had writings, and that was always what a 15-year-old was really seeking for, was to be honorable and to tell the truth and to be a man and to be like their ancestors and to honor their family name and to be strong. 15-year-olds. If you weren't a man by 15, they threw you to the side in almost every culture. You need to be a man by the time you were 12, 13, 14. Now they arrest your development and say, oh, you're not really a man until you're 25 now. You're not really supposed to go out. I mean, all these young people tell me, hey, I know you're telling the truth, but I'm young. I want to have some fun first. And then you're 30, 35, 40. I want to make money and have a family. And then you're retired. You want to travel. You don't want to be involved. I'm retired now, Alex. I don't want to be involved. They've set it all up like you're supposed to be selfish. And, of course, you only worry about yourself. And then you lose everything only worried about yourself. And then those that understand that collectivism is real, but it's individually actuated and activated by free association to build collectives of free will that are literally stairways to greater civilization and empowerment, not false collectives imposed by those that wish to sabotage the true human potential. By the way, these are the great secrets of civilization and humanity you're being given right now, known by all cultures that thrived. Forgotten secrets that are simple but revolutionary. That's why people in every old culture that was a thriving noble culture, there were cultures that were not noble, but noble cultures were known by their honor and the fact that, like a bulldog, they were bred to hold on and never release. But to quote a man for all seasons, I think a bitch got over the wall. Because a lot of you out there claim you're bulldogs. A lot of people out there claim you want liberty and the animating contest. But you don't act like somebody who has the birthright of George Washington. You don't act like somebody who has the birthright of Chuck Yeager. You don't act like somebody who has the birthright of a Martin Luther King or a Beethoven or a Mahatma Gandhi or anybody else who stood for the empowerment of the individual. And to see LeBron James, who in the face has the shining reflection of a 5-year-old at his surprise birthday party, imagining that he's Superman or Batman. I've seen that look in children. I remember that look in my own eyes as a very young child. I transcended delusion and narcissism at about age 5. I remember it. At age 3, understanding it. At age 5, transcending that, imagining I'm a king, imagining I'm powerful, imagining I'm dominant, imagining is a fraud and a lie. And I could see it in other children and literally set back with the wisdom of an old man because of my genetics and my instincts that all of you have as well. But accessing those, I knew things that old men knew when I was a boy. And then I look at people like LeBron James, who is literally a child, ladies and gentlemen. It's very, very sad. Selling liquid death and poison to people to go sign up because LeBron told them. It's like using a puppy. Obama is using LeBron James like a puppy and a bag of candy to get the child in the back of the white van to be taken to a torture center for 14 snuff films to be produced. But I don't blame the puppy. But he is a dangerous puppy nevertheless. LeBron James is a weapon system. You have to understand, folks, the globalists are your sworn enemy. And you can step in to manhood, step into your honor, or you can be weak forever. And that doesn't mean any of us are perfect. All of us are dishonorable at one level or another, but we seek to be honorable. We know good from evil. We know right from wrong. That's why the enemy always seeks to discredit me and say I'm not real and say I'm dishonorable, because they've been following me for 20 years. And they know I'm honorable and have the blood of honor in me, just as you do as well. I'm nothing special. I just accessed my basic primary operating system of being a man. You can access it as well. The hardware's there. You don't even have to learn this, ladies and gentlemen. You have to access it. You have to stop being insecure. You have to stop caring what people think about you. You have to stop worrying about what the world says because it's a fraud. And you have to access your real human programming that God put in you. You are stardust. You are of the universe. You're on a planet. You want to go to space. You want to travel. You want to, see other worlds. You're on a beautiful world. You're part of something amazing. You're on a fantastic, forbidden planet. You're on a world of wonder. The mysteries of the universe spill out before you in the incredible transcendental experience of full spectrum consciousness that the enemy wishes to overwrite. I am not their robot slave. I am not their biological replicant. I am a man, I am real, and I am free. And I seek justice. From the foundations of the earth, God wanted us to be free. But we have to make the decision which side we serve. The weak will serve evil because they believe it has power. But it only has a reflection on its face of the universe. But they stare into the reflection as the narcissist. The reflection is not the reality. The reflection is only a two-dimensional facsimile. Just as their genetic research, they only have a photo of the grizzly bear, not the true genetics of the grizzly bear. They only have a photo of the human genetics, not the way it actually works, not the real human. Just as the devil is a counterfeit of God and is a photograph of God, and a distorted photograph at that, God is the real power. Let's go to this clip breaking down the worship of sports with LeBron James from this piece we put out 4, 5, 6 years ago whenever he joined the Miami Heat. Here it is. Societies don't change. Whether it was the Roman Empire or Nazi Germany, the population is obsessed with sports and petty celebrities. And the United States is no different. MSNBC, the New York Times, they're all reporting that we are going into a depression, one of the greatest depressions in world history. And our decadent, slob-like public, and that's not everyone, but large percentages of the public, could care less. They're not involved in their communities. We've got 46 states on the verge of bankruptcy. The government's raising taxes on every level. The border with Mexico is collapsing. Mexico has collapsed. And the public doesn't care because the media has set the agenda. And they tell you to care about LeBron James and his decision. And he's playing into it and is going to announce his stupid decision. It doesn't matter what basketball team he goes to. This is a distraction by design. We have the governor of the state he's currently living in a bizarre "We Are LeBron, We Are the World" literal worship fest with hundreds of celebrities. This is sickening.
We really need you. No bigger heart is gonna love you.
Imagine the Ohio governor begging and pleading on television and serenading LeBron James with hundreds of other celebrities when Ohio is one of the states slated to go completely bankrupt. We're going into a depression. They're about to launch World War III with Iran openly. Fox News is reporting as if it's a good thing in New York State and Illinois that troops have helped arrest thousands of citizens and are doing gun sweeps in people's homes and searching people's cars. We're going in to martial law. Offshore banks have overthrown the U.S. They've stolen tens of trillions of dollars, like we're some third world country they're looting. Everything's going to hell in a handbasket. So if you want to know why your children have no future, if you want to know why you're bankrupt, if you want to know why you're in debt, if you want to know why you have no future and have lost your job or are getting your pay cut, it's because your priorities are wrong. It's because you let that idiot box, the television, program you since the days that your mother and father set you in front of the TV for 12 hours a day in your crap-filled diapers. It's not too late to admit we're a sick, decadent, degenerate society crumbling. We are Rome. It's 410. We're about to collapse, ladies and gentlemen. I know you won't know. You know about LeBron James. You don't know 410 is when Rome completely fell to Alaric, the Visigoth leader. You better learn history. This is dangerous. Don't say you weren't warned. The globalist engineers, the globalist social engineers look at you and how pathetic you are and how the whole world is waiting to see where LeBron James goes. The social controllers look at you and see how you're obsessed with LeBron James, and they decide, we got a bunch of schmucks. We've got a bunch of idiots. We got a bunch of morons right where we want them. Let's destroy their society. Let's loot it. Let's pass carbon taxes. Let's expand NAFTA and GATT. Let's announce an end to the dollar as the global reserve currency. Do you know what that means? We've already lost almost all our industry. We're already in a depression. When they get rid of the dollar as the world reserve currency, your life, as you know it, is officially over. You're going to be a third world slave like they are in Mexico or Nigeria. And you know what? Those people down there at least know why they're slaves. You are so stupid and so focused on crap, you'll probably still be talking about Lindsay Lohan when you're living as a homeless person on the street. My friends, we've got to set our priorities and set them now. Liberty or tyranny. You've got to wake up and decide what is important to you. Saving our republic, stopping the globalist takeover, or knowing all the mindless trivia about LeBron James and Lindsay Lohan. There isn't much more time. I'm begging you to ask yourselves to look in the mirror and really realize how sick this is. All right. It's not bad. The full video is going to be reposted at Infowars.com. That's from almost 4 years ago, back in 2010 in July. And I uploaded that hours before LeBron James made his decision after all the groveling in Ohio and Cleveland to go to Miami. And I wanted to just recap how sick that is. They build up what they want you to think is important, the idols. So you're worshiping stuff that doesn't matter. Hollywood, Justin Bieber, all of this is your Lord and Savior, while the globalists run the real world. And we're in a depression, according to almost every real economist. We are continuing to see proxy wars, the dollar devalued. Things are getting worse. But the average person feels like they're alone. Well, I'm not doing too good, but everybody else must be. They keep people in this suspended system of control. Here's Jamie Foxx, though, saying who his Lord and Savior is.
And our Lord and Savior, Barack Obama.
Well, the best part's right there. He goes, Barack Obama. Yeah, I mean, that's the best part. He says, Barack Obama, and everybody goes, they cheer, and he goes, let me say that name again. Barack Obama. And he's, I mean, pathetic. I mean, Obama is literally there to abort every black person he can. Mission number one. They're like, yes, kill us, murder us.
When you need it the most, will your generator, power equipment, or vehicle be ready? Gas and diesel fuels go bad quickly when stored, and more than half of generator failures during disasters occur as a result of expired fuel. PRI fuel stabilizers keep your fuel fresh for when you need it most. Nuclear power stations, emergency service providers, and ships at sea rely on PRI fuel stabilizers. And you can too. Call 888-776-9373 or visit PRIproducts.com to find the dealer nearest you.
The ultimate survival bug-out lightweight fishing pole is Emrod. Made by a family-owned American company and assembled in Idaho, Emrod fishing gear comes with a lifetime warranty and 90-day money-back guarantee. Emrod weighs just 8 ounces and breaks down to 14 inches. Emrod's indestructible stainless steel compact design makes it perfect to take anywhere. Cast your eyes now at Emrod.com. That's EMMROD.com. Emrod. Fish to survive. Survive to fish.
Imagine a world where a surveillance device exists in every home in America, on every person, and it's accessible by anyone with freely downloadable software on the internet. From government and business competitors to thieves and abusive spouses. Sound far-fetched? It's happening right now. Big Brother is listening.
Target is on the move.
Watching.
Cell phone signal acquired.
Using your cell phone to spy on you.
Tracking GPS coordinates.
Even when you think you've turned it off.
Recording audio-visual data now.
End the espionage now with the Privacy Case. Using military-grade electromagnetic shielding, the Privacy Case can block unauthorized remote access, prevent GPS location tracking, and stop audio-video eavesdropping. Order your Privacy Case now at privacycase.com and use coupon code GCN for free shipping. The Privacy Case, because there is a case for privacy.
Hi, folks. Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his 2-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach. And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex. what I'm going to do. I'm going to break down, is Obama weak? Are the globalists weak when it comes to Ukraine? I'm going to give you the rest of the story starting in the next hour. I'm going to get into a bunch of other important news that I haven't even covered yet, like professor calls for climate change deniers to be imprisoned. TSA, again, policing on the streets of America. That is expanding. And now Biden is escalating things, saying Russia is alone, naked in front of the entire world because they've got trendy Obama, the secret weapon. Everything's okay. Even if they cause nuclear war, it's okay because it's trendy. I mean, Obama's black. Come on. Just wave a magic wand. Everything's fine. Al Gore's trendy. Pay him carbon taxes. He said so. He's trying to save the earth. Pay him money. I mean, come on. They're admitted known con artist criminals. Doesn't matter. Do what they say. They wear suits and have red carpets and boss you around. So that's all coming up with a ton of other news. Like ATF agent says raiding gun store was fun. We have video, audio of all of this coming up. I know we had this last night. Do we have it queued up where professor calls for climate change deniers to be imprisoned? I want to get that audio as well. That's all coming up in the next hour, and your phone calls. I'll give the number out as well. And then we have Harry Dent, who's just a top analyst and founder of Dent Research. He's going to come on and talk about the economy and a whole bunch of other issues. In fact, where's his email? I had an email here with the topics he wanted to get into. Yeah, the year of defaults in China, and Germany falls off the demographic cliff. We'll tell you what that means. We're falling off the demographic cliff as well, starting next 2 years or so. I'm going to break down what that means, why they're getting ready to save the pension funds by nationalizing them. And that's all been announced, by the way. You notice the armored vehicles are getting in place, the cameras, the SWAT teams, the domestic police, the National Police Force is being militarized. Everything's being prepared just so you don't struggle. It's important before they do the procedure that you be strapped down properly and have a gag in your mouth, because this is going to hurt. There's not going to be any anesthesia. I will assure you. We're trying to stop all that, but we're extremists. You know, those type of people. Now, continuing, ladies and gentlemen, this hour is brought to you by mypatriotsupply.com/Alex. And at mypatriotsupply.com/Alex, you'll find all the specials, great customer service, the best storable foods company out there, non-GMO, organic, mypatriotsupply.com/Alex, or find the phone number right there on their site, 866-229-0927. Now, also, we have the Super Male Vitality. That is the most 8 powerful, organic, concentrated herbs we could find that are reportedly safe and effective and GRAS certified, as they call it. And it just absolutely is supercharging people, blocking the estrogen mimickers, doing so much. That sold out. But more is in the truck from the organic laboratory on its way here now. So it's basically not even sold out. Technically it is. You can order that, and it supports the broadcast at InfoWarsLife.com. Just try a bottle, see what it does for you, and I believe you will be hooked, as they say. The fluoride shield has the nascent iodine and 5 other compounds to detox heavy metals, you name it, not just fluoride. And, of course, the all-time king bestseller, Survival Shield Nascent Iodine. Palatable, check with your doctor, but I give it to my children. It's not like the regular iodine that tastes like rocket fuel from the Planet X. It's special. It's true nascent iodine. Nobody else has got it. InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. And your purchase, your free will, free association, funds this operation viciously attacking tyrants with absolute savage, barbarian abandon. So mid-air refuel us, InfoWarsLife.com. Thank you for arming us with the money. Why does the United States spend the largest percentage of GDP in the world on healthcare? Why do we have the highest cancer rates on the planet, the highest rates of diabetes, autism, and every other major disease? It all comes down to one thing. We are what we eat. Our food is devoid of nutrition and processed with poisons and additives. Our water is filled with toxic poisons and big pharma runoff. All of this has been engineered by design. We can turn the tide against the eugenicist by giving ourselves the nutrients our body desperately needs. To learn more, visit InfoWarsHealth.com. The site is literally packed with audio and video featuring top health professionals who don't bow down to Big Pharma. The fight against the New World Order starts with you, and you can't stand against the machine if you're sick, tired, and obese when you visit InfoWarsHealth.com. Be sure and check out the catalog with nearly 400 life-changing products and get free shipping when you sign up for AutoShip.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
I'm going to give a phone number out in the next segment. Then I'm going to cover the latest on the Ukraine, the economy. ATF agent says raiding gun store was, quote, fun. And professor calls for climate change deniers to be imprisoned. That's all coming up. But I had some other news I wanted to get to. And I know it's my fault, guys. I'm always losing everything. Will you guys give me another video list, audio list? Because I had that whole rundown in here. And now I can't find it as usual. There's like an explosion of stuff in here. I got a bunch of other stuff I want to get to coming up. We got Jakari Jackson's special report on Feinstein spying I want to get to. Leanne McAdoo has Dancing with the Diversions. That's an excellent report. And we've also got, again, KTLA, Patrick's Day earthquake coverage. We're going to get to the Ayers Armory raid that the ATF says is, quote, fun, and more. So that is some of what's coming up. And then it's not Harvey Dent joining us. It's the economist who's going to be joining us. Get ready for the Dow at 6,000 by 2016, says top pro CNBC. And that, of course, who they're quoting is Dent. So we're going to have Harry Dent, not Harvey Dent, but he's just as cool, joining us for a full hour. So we'll talk with him, or I'll talk over him for 30 minutes. And then we'll have some of your phone calls. If the crew makes me give the number out and take them. So that's why I've joked around that I tend to lollygag in getting to your phone calls, but we're getting a little bit better in a glacier-like movement way, but over time, things do move. So that is going to be coming up as well on this edition of the worldwide transmission. And again, we are here Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And then we come back with InfoWars Nightly News at 7 o'clock Central. I was going crazy here. I need to hit refresh on Infowars.com because it was saying the Monday edition. I was like, there's no way it's Monday. Everybody knows because Obama said so that it's Tuesday. So on the Tuesday, March 18th edition of the Alejandro Show, we're going to be breaking down the sanctions they're trying to impose on Moscow over their so-called invasion of Ukraine, which Russia has responded to with much derision. We're also examining which foreign power may step up to technically manage the internet after the U.S. effectively gives up control. And that is what I want to get into because there's all this news about, China and Russia will have control of the internet and all this. No, folks, that's not what's happening. They're handing it over to corporate interests. So we're going to be breaking all of that down as well. So that is what is coming up here on the worldwide broadcast today. And I have another sickening report here. Mental health hospitalizations increase in children. Nearly 10% of children are hospitalized for mental health diagnosis, but minority children are frequently overlooked. They're very lucky, aren't they? That's because they don't, on average, I guess, have more money to suck out of mommy and daddy. It's the trendy thing now to, your kid's on a bunch of red dye and a bunch of sugar and a bunch of crud, and you put them on Prozac-type drugs, and they really get mentally ill. And then, we better hospitalize your 5-year-old. And it's like mom goes, oh, my child has a mental illness. I'm going through a lot. I'm even going to get government assistance now. And it's like really the coolest thing to do. And then they can really screw your kid up and give them, electroshock therapy when they're 10. It's a therapy. Just like a Patriot Act's patriotic or the Affordable Care Act's affordable and doubles, triples your prices. And then by the time your kid's 20, they can be totally mentally ill and mind-wiped, artificially schizophrenic, talking to themselves on a street corner, and you can wash your hands of them. We don't know why Jenny is a mentally ill woman on the street. We don't know why Bobby is, but we did the best we could with the doctors. We'll be right back. Stay with us. The facts are in. The studies are legion. Sodium fluoride and other toxic members of the fluoride family are devastating the health and cognitive ability of the American people. So why are the social engineers adding it to the water? Simple. Dumb down the host population that the parasitic technocracy is feeding on. We may not have been able to get fluoride out of the water supply yet, but we can help to get it out of our bodies. I am extremely excited to announce the exclusive InfoWars Life Fluoride Shield formulation, fusing 6 of the best documented ingredients from around the world to help the body remove not just toxic fluoride residues from the body, but a whole host of toxic substances. Let's take a stand against the globalists by blocking their poisons with Fluoride Shield. I use Fluoride Shield every day. Secure your Fluoride Shield and other pioneering formulations at InfoWarsLife.com today. Let's start cleansing our bodies now and support the InfoWar at the same time. That's InfoWarsLife.com. The globalist social engineers are not just targeting us with propaganda. They are manipulating our genetics. We are being targeted at every level by estrogen mimickers that lower our testosterone and other hormones and natural compounds that the body needs. The key is to be aware of this attack and to fight back against it. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic super male vitality formula, sourced from powerful organic herbs harvested around the planet and then concentrated for maximum potency. I've always believed in nutrition and herbs. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. Super Male Vitality by InfoWars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality and other powerful products from InfoWars Life. Alex Jones here to tell you about how you can help spread liberty worldwide while also enjoying what I have found to be the best tasting 100% organic coffee on the planet. For more than a decade, my favorite coffee has come from the high mountains of southern Mexico, where the Chiapas farmers grow their unique shade-grown Arabica beans. We have now managed to secure these sought-after beans in a highly customized blend. Discover and try a bag of the Patriot Blend 100% organic coffee at InfoWarsLife.com. This coffee gives you a long, smooth pick-me-up for hours without the headaches and heartburn that so many other coffees give me personally. Hands down, this is my favorite coffee, and it's taken us years to secure connections directly to the Chiapas Mexican farmers. Drop by the site today, order a bag or two, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Available in original or with our Immune Support Infusion Blend. You will be supporting a free press, all the while enjoying a truly great-tasting cup of my favorite coffee. Available at InfoWarsLife.com.
From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Okay, we're going to open the phones up on any subject you wish to discuss coming up at the bottom of the hour. I'm going to give that number out, but I'd like to get your take on LeBron James and all these movie stars and people being used to push Obamacare. People need to reach out to their managers, need to reach out to them at games or on the street if you see them, any of the idiots promoting this, and say, look, it taxes payrolls of poor people. Obama broke that promise to not raise taxes on anybody making less than $250,000 a year. It cuts hours from 40 to less than 30 for most people. It doubles, triples, quadruples prices. It's got death panels, kicks you off pre-existing conditions, and raises 6 other taxes on top of that one on poor people. I mean, this thing is meant to blow our engine out and make people go on welfare. And you look, one reason I have a problem with sports people is that when I was growing up, sports folks were not as arrogant as they are now. And people that were successful, it was all about not being arrogant. And man, I got to tell you, living in Austin, I run into UT football players. I run into professional folks, and they are just mentally ill, arrogant people walking pit bulls downtown and bumping into people like they're God. And just as a whole, sports people act like a bunch of narcissistic, mentally ill twits. Because they've been told by the brainwashing system they're God, so other people think, oh, the emperor's wearing beautiful clothes. Well, really, they're butt naked, but you don't want to admit that, you know, you don't see how beautiful and wonderful it all is, so you just get obsessed with it. And then meanwhile, the globalists take over the whole planet while you're obsessed with Angelina Jolie telling you the UN's going to save you, or LeBron James saying, sign up for, you know, Obamacare. And they've got all these yellow ribbon programs. Want to give money for breast cancer. Want to give money for this. Want to jog in a, 10K for breast cancer. Hey, I'll give money to a program discovering why breast cancer is up multi-thousand percentage points and why the U.S. and Europe lead it worldwide. I will give money to find out why infertility's exploding. Again, it'd be like if suddenly where I live in Austin, Texas, we broadcast worldwide, or let's say you live in Dallas or London or New York or wherever. If 100 people were getting shot, last time I checked, something like 100 people are dying in all of New York with 10, 20 million people, whatever it is, every week or two from breast cancer. If every week or so, 100 people were being shot dead randomly in the greater New York City area, what is it, like 10 million in Manhattan? You count all the other boroughs, it's like 20 million or something. That would be big news. And it wouldn't be, we're trying to find a cure to the 44 Magnum that is being fired into people's heads in Brooklyn and in Manhattan and in Harlem and in Queens. It would be, who is shooting the people? Wouldn't be, let's find a cure to serious gunshot trauma to the head. But that's the crazy logic. So I'm at Walgreens getting something. Would you like to get money for breast cancer? No. Why not? Because I know what's doing it. It's glyphosate in the water table that literally grows breast tumors. On record, they admit that. So we don't even need money to find out what's doing it. That and estrogen, other estrogen mimickers, and the birth control in the water from the runoff, and they added as well. AP did a study, I think it was 6-7 years ago, of major cities and found we don't know why there's levels of serotonin reuptake inhibitors and other things in the water that, in some cases is 100+ times what it should be even from runoff. It's being added, Dumbo. It's not just running off. Of course they're adding it to the water. They're adding it all. Look at the general public going completely mentally ill right now. The average so-called fluoride they add is Grignard reagent, toxic waste from aluminum smelting, and fertilizer processing from mines. They mine the stuff for the, it's in limestone mines. Places like Florida and places. It's got uranium in it as well. It's got uranium. That's where they mine the uranium. It's the same place they get the fertilizer. And they just put it in your water lovingly. So I'd like to hear from you on that subject. I'm kind of digressing. I got a bunch of news to get to on Russia. The point is that we know why all this is happening. We know why all this is going on. And it's being done by design. I mean, I'm going to explain that again. Glyphosates have been rolled out, Roundup, you name it, to be used at a ubiquitous level. It's everywhere. And I'm here to tell you what's going on, and you can go check it out for yourself in 5 seconds if I'm not telling you the truth. So see, I'm not here like everybody else to try to keep the problem going and then set up industries off of the problem. I'm here to try to end the problem. Because see, I have 3 children, and that's what I care about. And I want you to succeed and be successful. The globalists do not. They're in competition with a strong society, a strong male-driven society. a patriarchal society. They're threatened by a real Americana. They're threatened by 1776 that will empower women and everybody else. They're threatened by individualism. They're threatened by normal, healthy societies because they'll be dominant and they'll explode. The globalists have already dominated the world. They want to shut down anything that could ever reverse that. So here's the headline. Breast cancer survivors told to remove pink ribbon in home. 16-year-old Linda Karp, breast cancer, beat breast cancer. 16-year-old, or 16 years ago, excuse me. And she has been doing her part to keep the disease in the public eye. So it was with pride that she put a large pink ribbon inside her home for 3 years. But not everybody was happy. Karp was shocked when she received a letter from the Homeowners Association to remove the ribbon. You know, homeowners associations, most of them aren't that bad that I've experienced, but some of them get power freaks involved who enjoy dominating everyone, and they'll do this kind of stuff. They say, we don't want to see that out your window, you know, through your window. But again, why not have a ribbon that says, we know the New World Order is killing us. We know the government's poisoning us. We know there's a eugenics operation. We need to come up with some symbolism like that, and then we can all just identify. Maybe an upside-down flag that in the white stripes has little messages that says there is a program to poison the population. There is a program to impoverish the population. There is a program to destroy the family. There is a program to bring in world government, and it's run by the large central banks like the Federal Reserve here in the United States. And until we identify that enemy, we have no future. America and the world is occupied by the New World Order. They are the enemy. Discover the enemy or perish. And you stick the upside-down flag on everything. And people go up and read what's in the messages. And then others can add what they think the problem is in the emergency message. And then that can spread. There. If you go out and do it, it'll be a great victory against the enemy. Will it bring them down? No. But the act of resistance and truth will. You need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, this is serious, and we need to combat it at every level. All right, let me get into the situation in Russia. The toll-free number is 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231. And when I go to you at the bottom of the hour, I'm not going to make you sit there and hold. I'm going to go to you. In fact, John Harmon, this is an order. You are, just today as a test, to fade me down if I try to talk during a 60-second period. We will let the person talk for 60 seconds, and they will be hung up on. Regardless of how important their information is, that's how we'll get to a bunch of calls.
Sounds good.
And then I will have 15 seconds to respond. And we'll move to the next person. This will be a day long remembered. All right. Let's go ahead and get into the Russia situation. Well, here's the arrogant mobster criminal, Joe Biden. Russia is alone, naked in front of the entire world. No, you are, you criminal leech. Here's another one. Biden in Europe to reassure our allies over Russia's moves in Ukraine. Washington Post. Folks, Russia took less than 10% of the country that historically has been part of Russia. I know you know that. I know you know that. But notice the hoax calling, the media calling Obama weak and the neocons calling Obama weak. The globalists, with neocon help and NATO help, just took 90+% of the country and put their regime that will now join the EU for looting. They voted to not join the EU. Now they're going to have a Marshall Plan, emergency aid, signing them onto the debt. The EU just took 90+% of the country. Russia came in to grab their bases and gas pipelines, and they're calling it a victory for Putin so he can then strut around in his gold palace, when in truth, this is a major defeat for Russia. That's spin for you. And then Israel and the neocons give right-wing support and cover to Obama, who's on the exact same team. That's the rest of the story. Good day. We're going to skip this network break. This is too important. I've got to cover this story now. Ron Paul. I'm going to read this whole article out of USA Today because it says it all. Very measured, very reasonable. What I've been saying for weeks. In USA Today. Ron Paul, Crimea secedes. So what? Residents of Crimea voted over the weekend on whether they would remain an autonomous region of the Ukraine or join the Russian Federation. In doing so, they joined a number of countries and regions, including recently Scotland, Catalonia, and Venice. They are seeking to secede from what they view as an unresponsive or repressive governments by 96.77%. The latter three are proceeding without much notice, while overwhelmingly Crimea vote to secede from Ukraine has incensed the U.S. and European Union officials, who are run by globalist banks, I should add, and has led NATO closer to conflict with Russia in any time since the height of the Cold War. What's the big deal? Ron Paul goes on to say, opponents of the Crimea vote like to point to the legality of the referendum, but self-determination is a centerpiece of international law. Article 1 of the United Nations Charter points out clearly that the purpose of the UN is to develop friendly relations among nations based on respect for the principle of equal rights and self-determination of peoples. Why does the U.S. care which flag will be hoisted on a small piece of land thousands of miles away? It's 8,000 miles away, technically. Critics point to the Russian occupation of Crimea as evidence that no fair vote could have taken place. Where were these people when an election held in Iraq, occupied by U.S. troops, was called a triumph of democracy? Perhaps the U.S. officials who supported the unconstitutional overthrow of Ukraine's government should refocus their energies on learning our own constitution, which does not allow the government to overthrow governments overseas or spend $1 billion to bail out Ukraine and its international creditors. Though the Obama administration applied some minimal sanctions on selected Russian and Crimean individuals, neither the U.S. nor the EU can afford significant sanctions against Russia. Global trade provides too much economic benefit to both sides. Indeed, Paul continued to write, international markets rallied on news that the sanctions would be thus far minimal. They understand that trade and economic engagement are the surest roads to peace and prosperity. Let's hope governments will follow their lead. From the Ron Paul Institute, stories also at Infowars.com. We carry all the Ron Paul Institute information, or most of it. Now, how do you spin that? We cannot believe how weak Obama is. He only backed taking over 90+% of the country and seizing it and firebombing the police stations and shooting people and overthrowing an elected government. And, I mean, how dare Obama be weak on Syria over the last 3 years, blowing up hundreds and hundreds of churches every month, murdering Christians and others en masse, funding al-Qaeda 200,000 strong to attack the country, and now we want an Air Force bombardment and total invasion of a country that did nothing. I mean, how weak of Obama. Give him 9 more peace prizes. I mean, how weak of him signing the Obamacare Act written by Ezekiel Emanuel and the Republican Party and Democratic Party with the offshore mega banks. How dare him do that? How dare him, double and triple the prices for the foreign banks? How dare him build more abortion clinics in the black neighborhoods the New World Order wants to kill? How dare him try to disarm the American people when the big banks are the ones financing that? How dare him invade 6 different African countries in the last 7 years? Or 6 years or whatever it is. How dare him use al-Qaeda to bring down Libya? How dare him just absolutely sign on to $1 billion in aid that'll be used for the military? How dare him back NATO arming Ukrainian troops, massing in Ukraine right now, in Ukraine, refusing to leave, saying, quote, they will battle the Russians for it. How dare him? He is weak, ladies and gentlemen. He's just totally bringing down the U.S., raping everybody of their finances, turning us over to the New World Order, and then they've got all these people running around, jumping up and down, saying he's weak. And then it's like some kind of, we're scoring when Krauthammer, who's good on a lot of subjects, comes out and says, yeah, Obama looks real weak. Dick Cheney says, he's real weak. Man, Putin's really showing us right now. I mean, we just grabbed 90+% of a country full of oil and pipelines and grain, and we're going to suck it dry right now. I mean, I tell you, Hitler got half of Poland. We would have got 90%. That's how you game people. That's how you take over right there. And the public buys it. Yeah, Putin's really tough. He's really showing us right now. There's a lot of traitors like Alex Jones and Ron Paul that don't think we should have war with Russia. Yeah, you know those commies, Ron Paul and Alex. Yeah, they want to cut taxes down to nothing, get rid of the income tax, give the states most of the power and empower the family and get rid of the Department of Education and arm everybody. They love John Wayne and cars that go 200 miles an hour. These are some really communist people. I mean, folks, you didn't know that I've been accused in literally hundreds of publications of being a KGB agent? Of course, back when I said that our government was funding al-Qaeda, they had the media claim that I'm a al-Qaeda sleeper cell person. Oh, yes. That's why. There is something the establishment does get, though, and I've been told this, you know, in some high-level meetings. They've actually done their homework. They do this on anybody. You know, just until about 50 years ago, and this is probably discriminatory and a bad thing, but back when America really was run by Americans, you couldn't get a high-level position unless your family had been here back in 1776. That's kind of inclusive, a little bit elitist, isn't it? But if I could go be part of the societies with the elites that were in, you know, from the Mayflower. I could go be part of the Sons of the Republic of Texas. My mom could be Daughters of the Republic of Texas. Grandma is. I'm not saying I'm some hoity-toity guy. But you know, the whole point is I'm an American, and you get that through your stinking heads. And don't you ever, you scumbag traitors who are sold out to the foreign banks that are gutting this country, don't you ever tell me I work for some foreign government. And you know who you are. I dare one of these neocons to get in my face and say that I'll punch you in the nose. You understand that? You ever say that I'm not loyal to this country? Go ahead, punch me in the face. I will stomp your ass into the ground. And I don't mean to talk like this, but I am an American, 110%. And you tell me I'm not a loyal American, I will stomp you into the ground. Do you understand that? I want this country to survive. I love this country. I believe in this country. We were exceptional. And I'm sick of people signing us on to the New World Order, to world government, destroying our industry, destroying our country, poisoning our people chemically and culturally. And then you have got the nerve to sit up here and tell me that I'm not an American. You're not an American. You're a piece of trash sold out to the New World Order. The neocons, the Democratic Party, all of you are enemies. Enemies, and you want to usurp me, and you want to usurp my family, and you want to usurp everyone and trot them underfoot. Well, I'm not going to sit here, and I'm not going to put up with it. And that's what it comes down to. I am the rightful heir. You are the rightful heir. We are the rightful heirs of this republic. And I don't care if you just got off a boat here. If you like the Bill of Rights and Constitution, you like freedom, you don't want handouts, you don't want to be a slave, you want guns, you want to raise your own children, you don't want to abort 53 million, 54 million babies, then you are my brother. I don't care what color you are or where you're from. You want freedom? Then you're on the same side as I am. But if you want to be part of gangs and inside scams and all this crud, you're an enemy. But I do see the Russians surrounded, and I do see them being bullied and pushed around, and I see a sovereign country, just like America, under New World Order attack. And I do have solidarity with the Russians at that level, because they're being attacked by the same pack of wolves that already pulled us down and is eating our guts right now. And they're trying to pull Russia down right now. They had Russia down for 70-plus years, absolutely murdering those people by the tens of millions. And now they want to do that here. You absolutely better believe I'm on fire to not see Russia overrun by the New World Order and destroyed. Russia's trying to rebuild itself economically. As Ron Paul said at the end of his article, he says, instead, international markets rallied on news that the sanctions would be thus far minimal. They understand that trade and economic engagement are the surest roads to peace and prosperity. Let's hope governments will follow their lead. I want to compete on ideas and products. And if we beat the Russians in competition, great. You want to have competitions and see American companies in America win contracts? That's great. Then Russians will buy our products and vice versa. I don't want to be successful in the old, ancient, barbarian, fraudulent, imperial way of just making people slaves. I want to be successful by true competition and true free will, and that's what I stand for. And that's what will build our civilization and give us a future. We have been overrun by the most dishonorable, anti-liberty, anti-human gangs the world could ever imagine. And we are in deep, deep bondage. And we are losing our genetics. They are wrecking human genetics at many levels in an irreversible way. That's on record. We are being vandalized. We are being attacked. The globalists are the ultimate criminals to dare attack the virtuous. That's where I stand. And excuse me for saying I'll kick people's butt. It's just a certain point, you know, I dare one of these media people, one of these guys come up and tell me I'm a KGB agent. Go ahead. If I am, come punch me in the nose. I'm going to stomp your head in the ground. I'll show you who the American is, punk.
We're on the march. The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Alex Jones here with a message to fellow freedom lovers. The prognosis for the entire planetary economic system runs from bad to worse. The globalist model is to shut down societies and starve patriots out until they acquiesce to the global takeover. That's why we've assembled the most vital and important preparedness items at InfoWarsShop.com. These are items that I did research on, that I personally use. We've got the life straw, so you can turn fetid water into safe water anywhere you go. The K-Tor hand crank generator to charge up key equipment during power outages or out in the field. Strategic Relocation, 3rd edition by Joel Skousen. When Disaster Strikes by Matthew Stein. ThyroSafe, used by Homeland Security to protect yourself during any radiological event. Hand crank shortwave AM/FM radios. Everything that we've researched and found to be the best is available at InfoWarsShop.com, and your purchase makes our InfoWar possible. We're getting prepared. Are you? InfoWarsShop.com. In the last 50 years, iodine has been phased out of our staple foods and replaced with the halogen bromine, a practice now banned in nations around the world. Guess what else is in the halogen family? Fluoride. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. In 1924, the federal government did the right thing and encouraged salt producers to add iodine. It's the good halogen on the periodic table. And the results are on record, reports documented. A 15-point IQ increase in areas that had previously been deficient in iodine. Bottom line, iodine is important. Unbound, clean, in a glycerin base. Nascent iodine was the answer for myself and my family. You will find Survival Shield Nascent Iodine exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWars Life Survival Shield Nascent Iodine isn't just for emergencies. I take it every day. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. Introducing Pro One. All of your filtration in one system, portable, on the go. No more do you have 2 or 3 filters to just reduce sodium fluoride. You have a system that cuts out the sodium fluoride and up to 95% of hydrofluorosilicic acid. Advanced manufacturing technology combines silver-impregnated white ceramic with new Aquamedics advanced media for removal of fluoride and other heavy metals, all in one filter element. It is the only one that does it, and out of the gate, we have it discounted at 10% off with promo code WATER. This is the only system that in one unit helps reduce or remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, ammonia, and chlorine, hydrofluorosilicic acid, the most common form of fluoride not covered by other fluoride filter brands, and sodium hexafluorosilicate. Get your Pro Pure with the new Pro One filter today at InfoWarsStore.com or by calling 888-253-3139.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance. It's Alex Jones.
In the heat of the night, we are taking your phone calls. 1-800-259-9231. We're going to go to your phone calls here just momentarily. I genuinely get mad on air. People ask me all the time, is that an act? And I think it could be an act as far as I let myself get angry. But most of the time, there isn't even 1% of acting in what I'm doing. If I'm sitting around acting silly, it's me having fun. But I was telling the story about the Dallas cops being ordered to not let us demonstrate peacefully on a sidewalk, and how I blew up at them and got mad at them, and how I probably shouldn't have gotten that mad, but they were robbing us of our birthright, and I started getting mad because it was coming back to me just how pathetic this is. And it's the same thing. We're overrun by the globalists. They're destroying the country. And they're bringing us into something really horrible. It's not like we're being conquered by, the Greeks or something, and we're some, group living in squalor and our life's about to get better 2,500 years ago or whatever. We're being conquered by the eugenicist New World Order who absolutely plan to kill us. James Bond, do you expect me to talk, Goldfinger? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die. There's no quarter, there's no games, there's no... And that's what's so frustrating about all this, is that I really know I'm telling the truth. I really know what the stakes are. And it's a Twilight Zone episode. It should be a no-brainer to get out of this, folks. We just have to admit how much trouble we're in. I mean, I read these quotes here where Obama is, saying, okay, pull out of Crimea, or that's it. They're still saying that. That's in The Hill. Obama says Putin at breaking point. Got another one here out of, trying to find it, out of Bloomberg, where he says, all right, I'm giving you another ultimatum. Here it is. Obama says Putin must pull back on Crimea annexation. I mean, it's not happening. Romney calls it the price of failed leadership because he brought up Ukraine, and Obama said that that wasn't going to be an issue. Well, I mean, they all knew that they were planning back in '97 under Brzezinski to launch an attack to take over most of the country. They predicted the Russians would grab Crimea. That's the default position, to grab something that's already been part of Russia. So again, they did act on Crimea. They grabbed 90+% of the country of Ukraine. And that's Romney and them giving Obama right cover. Remember, Romney helped write Obamacare and got it passed in Massachusetts. The same screw job model. That's why we're in so much trouble. That's why we've got to take over the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. And that could happen if people started realizing just how evil these two parties are. People say, well, just create a new party. They've already rigged everything. You want to take these parties over. And believe me, it can be done with our ideas, because our ideas are so much more popular than what the globalists are selling and pushing. Now, finally, this transmission is listener supported. And we have come out with a fourth product at InfoWarsLife.com. I guess a fifth if you count the great organic coffee from Southern Mexico. That's my favorite blend, personally, that we've put out. Directly buying it from the Chiapas farmers. They're in the high mountains, volcanic soil. The Wake Up America, we got 2 different blends, and all your purchases support the broadcast. We now have what I dubbed the Silver Bullet. And to put it to you this way, we could have got colloidal silver a million places and private labeled it. It took us about 8 months to finally get this. We got a limited amount. More is going to be coming in, but it is selling out very, very quickly. Silver Bullet is the strongest colloidal silver and one of the smallest nano-sized particles, and that's what they say you want's really small. And the place made us the biggest batch they've ever produced. And they said that, well, they sent us the test. It is Silver Bullet. Consult your physician before you use it. I wish I would have had something this strong back when I had strep throat a few weeks ago and didn't know it. I was taking silver, and it did finally knock it out. But it was extremely painful. This stuff is strong. But I'm going to tell you, again, consult your physician, because if you use too much silver, there's side effects. You have to drink, a lot of it. They say some people go crazy and drink hundreds of bottles a year of it, and their skin turns blue. You will literally turn into a gamelon. Star Blazers, the animated cartoon from the 80s, where the gamelons are blue-skinned humanoids. I mean, you will turn blue. So I'm going to throw that out there to everybody. But it is an amazing antibiotic, topically, you name it. It's Silver Bullet. In fact, will somebody bring me some Silver Bullet in? I've got one of our new products coming out. I'm not going to announce it right here in my hand. But will somebody run me over some Silver Bullet? I had some Silver Bullet and took it home in here yesterday. Let me take my survival shield right now. Keeps me going. But anyways, all those purchases at InfoWarsLife.com make the broadcast possible. And you have my pledge. We will have the highest levels of testing. We will have the highest levels of quality. We will bring you the very best we can get in an industry-wide deep research, whether it's a Super Male Vitality, the Fluoride Shield, the Survival Shield, the Silver Bullet. It's all available at InfoWarsLife.com, along with all the Molon Labe T-shirts and the rest of it. By the way, that Molon Labe design I came up with is now getting grabbed everywhere and being circulated. It's extremely popular. I knew that shirt would be our best seller ever. And well, we've got those available as well. Okay, here's Silver Bullet. We have it in multiple different sizes, but it's in a big 2-ounce bottle. And ladies and gentlemen, it is powerful. And again, you can see it right there. You notice it's not clear, folks. It's gold. And it is powerful compared to, I mean, I've got dozens of forms of colloidal silver at home for topical, you name it. Anytime I got a sore throat, you name it. Give it to the dogs. This stuff, just look out, because we only bring you high-powered stuff. Silver Bullet, colloidal silver, dietary supplement. And it's got deionized water and silver. Contains no yeast, anything. So there you go. And we've got the best laboratory in the country we could find. 8-month search. Well, it was about 6-month search. The 2 months to produce this. It's dangerous when they produce this. It's like a Frankenstein movie with the electricity and stuff when they make this. Okay. So there you go. Available at InfoWarsLife.com if you want that. And it's going to sell out like I thought in about a week. But then we'll get more in, but it will probably be a while. And that's not a sales tactic to say it sells out. You've seen us sell out for a month before, the Fluoride Shield or the Survival Shield. InfoWarsLife.com. Okay, we're going to go to your calls now. 800-259-9231. Let's talk to Julio, longtime caller. I recognize him if it's the same Julio. He's not even reporting for us in Illinois. What's your take on all this? 60 seconds.
It is the same Tue Alex football as well. We're going through some crazy times, my friend, and you just spoke about how dangerous both of these parties are. I mean, we are really dealing with a bunch of psychopaths, a bunch of narcissists, sociopaths. I mean, you name it. We're dealing with some dangerous people. And again, this isn't the United States people endorsing an invasion of Ukraine or invasion of Crimea. This is the corporate state. This is Chevron getting set to make billions of dollars in the oil fields and the gas regions of Ukraine and Crimea. This is Monsanto and all the other agriculture businesses set to make billions of dollars, pennies on the dollar, taking over the breadbasket of Europe, that is Ukraine. We are really dealing with some crazy people. John McCain this morning is at a town hall in Arizona trying to sell his constituents on just how dangerous Vladimir Putin is and how we need to invade the Ukraine. That's really
right. Time's up. You're absolutely right. They're calling for military action against the Russians. And again, John Corzine made 40-to-1 bets with other people's money, and he used to head up Goldman Sachs that basically runs the U.S. And that shows an example of these people. And he got away with it. Let's go to the next caller. Thank you, Julio. Giving each caller 1 minute. Let's talk to Ironhead in Washington. Go ahead, Ironhead.
Hey there, Pumpkinhead. Pumpkinhead and Ironhead. Front row seats on the boxcars on the way to the re-education centers, right? Watching in-game reruns. Okay, I'm going to talk fast. I'm going to give you a triune aphorism to how the capstone is being laid. I'll state the premise that there is no individual countries anymore. They're all laid in at the top level. And it goes to 3 things that I came into contact with. Number 1, I met an individual about 10 years ago who was not only close personal friends with Larry McDonald, he was also supposed to be on that airplane that was blown out of the sky, Flight 007. Off air, I'll give you his name. It would be a great segue into a Larry McDonald crossfire interview that Rukeyser and Pat Buchanan laid. Number 2, that's proof that Russia, that plane, took over that plane. It was definitely as a control measure by the oligarchic control structure at the top level. Number 2, back in
I'm going to put you on hold. You can give us your info if you want. We can't get to everybody if I don't give you just a minute. Larry McDonald was a Democrat, was the head of the John Birch Society, basically, was a patriot, was smart, good-looking. He was going to end up being president. They brought him down. They killed him, and it's been proven. You're absolutely right. They were scared of him. Flight 007, look it up, folks, just like the Malaysia flight. Let's talk to Nick in California. You're on the air.
Suppressing my butterflies, the metaphor. Hey,
you're a little bit distorted. I couldn't understand that. Go ahead.
Okay, since the federal government shut down, every single-engine plane bugging me disappeared. When Obama signed the debt-ceiling measuring law, they're right back, but there's little through. But when he signs that thing, the takeovers, the financing is still there, and that's where Crimea River goes in. The idiot wind. Rodeo music, it suppresses the noise, and the tenants, they want to take the noise out of the grunts. It's a suppression. I just switched subjects because I'm so off.
I hear you. I appreciate your call, Nick. Listening on 1340 KOMY. Appreciate it. We don't screen your calls, folks, so welcome to the show. Let's talk to Robert in Arkansas. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex. Long-time listener and second-time caller. You'd asked earlier about what we could use as a unifying symbol for unity, and I want to announce Operation Take Back, where every American that is awake should be showing a flag in front of their home or business as a sign that the Constitution is the ultimate law of the land, and if you are awake, we should have our turn your porch light on and go around your neighborhood, see who's awake, who isn't awake. What we need to do is we need to be talking to our neighbors, and those that are not awake yet, we need to wake them up. We need to get out there, and we need to take neighborhood by neighborhood, city by city.
Total genius. I agree with you. We need to canvass our neighborhoods, identify who's awake, then organize to then try to wake the others up. And there's strength in numbers. Your neighbors are ready to wake up. People are ready for freedom. You've just got to set the brush fires in your area. Absolutely. Great idea. Thank you, Robert. Let's talk to Jerry in Georgia. Then we're going to El Salvador and Thailand. Jerry in Georgia, you're on the air.
Thank you, Alex. What I want everybody to do is just Google these words, radioactive plume, South Carolina. Since January, there's been a tritium leak into the water system. You'll find dozens and dozens of little local news articles about it, but nothing national and nothing about the journalists don't go, they don't test it, but the DHEC, you've got articles where they admit there is a leak from the Barnwell dump facility into the groundwater. And nobody. And again,
that's a tritium link. That's not too healthy. Of course, Ann Coulter says it's good for us, so maybe she can wave her magic wand and it'll save us. But say that again. What do you search? Because I hadn't heard about that leak.
Radioactive plume, South Carolina.
Radioactive plume, South Carolina. Guys, search engine that. We'll put it up even during the next caller. Thank you, sir. That's why we're taking a lot of calls. See, a lot of interesting stuff comes out. Let's talk to Chris in Florida. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Alex, would you please do a show with the founder of Ithaca Hours, Paul Glover, and if you want to put me on hold, I'd gladly give you the contact information. Another great guest would be Wayne Walson, who's been instrumental in several community currencies around the country, including Mountain Hours. That's mtnhours.com. And that's a great way to stimulate local economies and keep the currency local.
I'm all about local currencies, especially ones that aren't even digital because they can't track them. And then it's all about goodwill and what's trusted. And I'm all about local barter. Go ahead.
Yes, and if you, like I said, put me on hold, I'll give you all their contact information. PaulGlover.org is one of his sites, and he's running for governor.
I'll tell you what, do this. It's hard to just give me all the info on air. Email it to us, folks. We get a lot of guest ideas that way. Showtips@Infowars.com. Thank you, Chris. Let's talk to Edward in El Salvador. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. I actually just wanted to talk about the Malaysian flight that's been missing for a few days. It's just it's insane to me that the American people and anybody else who's been keeping up with this story can actually believe that it's missing. How do you lose a plane with however many people, 239 people on board, with all cell phones? Supposedly they track cell phones and they can figure out where people are and look at you through your camera. and they can't find a whole bunch of people, supposedly 3 Americans on board. I mean, it's just like, what exactly?
It does sound like a giant stunt to distract us from the stuff happening in Ukraine and other areas.
And that's another thing. And in Ukraine, what is this the beginning of World War III with Russia and Ukraine? And
it's definitely the beginning of a new Cold War, brother. I appreciate your call. We're moving quick. Thanks for the call from El Salvador. Ben in Missouri. I know we're going to go to you in a minute. Actually, the next caller is Barry in Thailand. Maybe it's Barack Obama from Thailand. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that. Hey, just want to give you a show tip. I don't know if you're aware of this. I'm an options trader, and I pay attention to these things. But George Soros had taken out a large put option position on the S&P right before things really broke down in the Ukraine, which, you know, I know from you that he was funding the protests there. So he would have profited hugely when he sold that position when it took a nosedive after the unrest kind of reached a crescendo there. So it's kind of a 9/11 put option scandal that I think you guys should look into.
Very interesting. Again, let me write that down. I'll have the reporters look into it. What was this? He put a put option in against the S&P?
There's an article in Market Watch that says Soros doubles a bearish bet on S&P to the tune of $1.3 billion. And if a put option position that is worth
sure, and then he goes in and he destabilizes the country. That's what he constantly does. I mean, I know he's in there market rigging. I know he's in there saying this may bring down Europe, which he's betting against right now. He just is an absolute monstrous little pig.
He would have made zillions on that. So you guys ought to look into that. Other than that, from Bangkok, it's really weird here. I'm about ready to leave, I think. But the cancer wards here in the hospitals are filled with children that are being poisoned by the additives in the food. And
well, Barry, there are too many people. So we got to kill all the children. Folks, take your shots.
Attention gun owners. It's reasonable to assume that at some point you may need to defend your family from an armed attack. But is it reasonable to mount a defense without a strong offense? Infidel Body Armor goes on in seconds. Is civilian legal in all 50 states. Is 100% made in the USA. Is veteran owned and ships next business day for free. Go to infidelbodyarmor.com. INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor. Just won't quit.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
With new and ever-increasing health threats on the rise, there has never been a more crucial time to support your immune system. Supernatural Silver is a revolutionary new silver solution that is clinically shown to be several hundred times more effective than colloidal or ionic silver and is powerful enough to help protect you and your family from deadly viruses, bacteria, and fungus. Supernatural Silver is scientifically supported, highly effective, and perfect for everyday use inside the body as well as out. The Science Digest Journal says silver is our mightiest germ fighter. It is virtually non-toxic and is emerging as a wonder of modern science. Supernatural Silver is the #1 choice of thousands for improved health and immune system support. Find out how Supernatural Silver can change your life. Go to supernaturalsilver.com, supernaturalsilver.com, and use the promo code SILVER2014 for 20% off. Give yourself and your loved ones a fighting chance with Supernatural Silver.
Hi, folks. Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his 2-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach. And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage, or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex. That someone gets my message in a bottle, yeah. Yeah, where are all the mainline liberals? Oh, they're promoting war, Obamacare, acting trendy. Because they're told to do it. They're told, you get behind the establishment agenda, so all the trendies out there think it's cool. You're not going to get any more roles. And most of them sell out, folks. Well, we're not going to have any future if people don't start more and more going public coming out. And that's starting to happen where the system's not going to be able to maintain control. But don't be selfish if you're a Bruce Willis, who I know is awake, or others, and not speak out, because we're going to lose everything if you don't do it. Speak out against the whole system. Pick an issue: fluoride, Second Amendment, world governance, eugenics, the cancer epidemic, which they're designing on record. None of you are going to be protected. None of you are safe. This is an artificial system that's been built to make us artificially feel safe so they can incrementally social engineer us. You're living in a science fiction movie, folks. You're living in a proto-matrix. What are you going to do about it? I can put messages in bottles all day and send them out. You can send this video out to people. But you need to become a leader as well. And I speak to those that are in the establishment because you're just in the same boat as us regardless. Let's continue with phone calls ahead of Mr. Dent joining us. Let's go ahead and talk to John in Michigan on the Ukraine. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex, what's up?
Worldwide transmission. Go ahead.
Yeah, right on. I just want to say this whole Ukraine thing, it's part of the captive nations operation that Eisenhower instated. You know, so it's been like 50-something years of this whole like Cold War, so to say. But I just want to state this quote from Stalin. America is like a healthy body, and its resistance is threefold. It's patriotism, it's morality, it's spiritual life. If we can undermine these three areas, America will collapse from within. Joseph Stalin.
He did say that, and they've done that to us. But again, the globalists were doing it here without the Russians' help. Anything else?
No, I just wanted to bring that to light, that it's been going on for 53 years. You know, it's not nothing new. It's, you know, the whole Keegan, you know, is related to Newland, the husband. He's part of the, you know, the whole New American Century doctrine, you know, and it's the same thing as the, you know, captive nation.
Well, the New American Century, the PNAC people are the Trotskyites. On record, literal Russian group, communist group that got kicked out by Stalin. I mean, that's why the neocons and Obama work together. It is a disgusting group of people. I appreciate your call. Great points, John. Ben in Missouri, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, terrorist. How's it going?
I'm good. I am for the Second Amendment. I'm a bad person and racist as well.
You really are. Yeah. Well, I heard you talking about LeBron James like that. That was extremely racist. I'm really offended that you would say something about somebody who's so good at putting a basket through a hoop and jumping up and down and all those other kinds of things. So I don't know. I don't know if I can listen to you anymore. But the reason why I called was because my mom and dad, mom took a job with Loving Big Pharma over in Switzerland. They live in Basel. Now, they have a festival called Fasnacht. I'm probably saying it wrong, but it's basically like a Mardi Gras type festival in Switzerland. And they have parades and everything else, and they have different cliques is what they're called that have, they cover a certain theme.
I got to hear about this. We're going to finish your call, take a few more, then we got our guest coming up, third hour. Third hour coming up, Infowars.com. Real Alex Jones on Twitter.
This is GCN,
follow us today.
The Genesis Communications.
Like us on Devil Book. Hi, folks. Alex Jones here with some important information. I want to tell you about Matt Redhawk and his team of patriots over at My Patriot Supply. Several years ago, Matt was sitting in his two-bedroom apartment, frustrated with the direction this country was headed and the charlatans willing to sell us out for a quick buck. Deciding to take action, a company run by patriots for patriots was born. My Patriot Supply has never taken a loan or accepted outside funding. They now operate 2 distribution facilities and employ over 50 hardworking American men and women. It is rare to find companies who practice what they preach. And that's why I stock my pantry with high-quality storable foods from My Patriot Supply. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today for special offers on emergency food storage or call their preparedness specialist at 866-229-0927. That's 866-229-0927. Do business with someone who shares your values. mypatriotsupply.com/Alex.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
You know, I say the callers only get 1 minute, but then they're telling a story about Switzerland. It's so interesting that I held the guy over. We're talking to Ben in Missouri, and we're going to go to Johnny, Jason, Justin, many others. But, yeah, so they've got different cliques that are part of the parades in Switzerland. I've read about that. Never been to Switzerland. I want to go. And we've sent reporters there before. The footage is so beautiful. It's like something out of a Wonderland Disney movie or something. You were getting up to the fact that they were having a parade. Your parents work in Switzerland. Basil, go ahead.
And so they, one of the main themes to the parade this year, that I think my dad said that there were over 25 floats that touched on the NSA spying. And I'm going to email it to you. The photos. He took a ton of photos because he knows that I'm awake. I'm obsessed with, fighting the New World Order, liberty. I'm a total extremist. And one of them in particular was Yes, We Scan. There is a lot of good fun being poked at the NSA spying. So I'm going to send those over. But it's encouraging to me that people in Europe and Switzerland worldwide are understanding what's going on, and it really gives me a lot of hope that my kids will be able to live in a world without terrorism.
We'll do this exactly. Write a description, send it to showtips at Infowars.com. We'll get it up. And absolutely, so the Swiss, I'm not going to get into their whole story and how they started when the Austrians were oppressing them, and then there was an uprising and they killed a bunch of the Austrian troops, and it's all about the Austrians coming to take their crossbows. So America got its ideas from Swiss, the British, and the Dutch, who had armed the citizen movements. And so their fight just came over here. And Switzerland, we had the police by the third day covering it in Switzerland, my reporters, joining us in like torchlit processions like out of a Frankenstein movie. Okay, because we had members of their federal government showing up saying, "Get out, David Rockefeller." I mean, they get it. They don't want to be slaves. That's why they're rolling in piles of cash and the highest standard of living worldwide. And just are so rich they can't help themselves because they didn't join the New World Order bankers. We did. We're screwed. Well, thank you, Ben. Let's talk to Johnny in Florida. Johnny, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Thanks for waking me up, Alex. I've been listening every day for the past 3 years, and I try to spread the word as much as possible. I just want to point out, as all these situations have become prevalent, whether it's Libya, Syria, Ukraine, and now this beef with Russia, the masses are waking up to the New World Order and this global technocracy. And it's captured the federal government, and I think it's just rendering itself illegitimate. My question to you is it only cognitive dissonance and the psychological warfare we've been under, or is there something greater that's holding humanity back? And what's it going to take for us to finally be fed up with all the garbage that's going on in this world? Thanks. That's all I got.
God bless you. Great question. I think you probably know the answer. It's a lot of things. There's chemicals in the food and water and the television. We become spectators. And the government at the low level isn't bad people on average. So how do we get mad at them? We need to get the point out that the globalists have gotten control at the top. But what's holding us back is we still got food in our bellies, even though it's poison GMO. The Romans would hand out free bread in Rome to control the population. They called it the dole. And so they're taking our liberty and our freedom, but still we've got enough food. And so that's why they're able to progress, is that, still life in the West is better than it is in the third world, and it's still better than any other time in history. So we've got great economic spoils and great opportunities. The world is great in many ways. And we're adaptive, and so as things start to get bad, we kind of muddle through it and live through it. We need to realize there's a prime evil, an anti-human directive, and that the globalists are taking us somewhere bad. You've got to explain to people that, hey, you don't want to go down the spider hole. We're up to the edge of it right now, and we're like, see those eyes in there? You don't want to go in that hole. See all the little skeletons hanging around the entrance? We need to get that message out to people that bad men are running things. We need to get them out of control. They want to crush us because they know we could reverse the tide. Alex Jones here to tell you about how you can help spread liberty worldwide while also enjoying what I have found to be the best tasting 100% organic coffee on the planet. For more than a decade, my favorite coffee has come from the high mountains of southern Mexico, where the Chiapas farmers grow their unique shade-grown Arabica beans. We have now managed to secure these sought-after beans in a highly customized blend. Discover and try a bag of the Patriot Blend 100% organic coffee at InfoWarsLife.com. This coffee gives you a long, smooth pick-me-up for hours without the headaches and heartburn that so many other coffees give me personally. Hands down, this is my favorite coffee, and it's taken us years to secure connections directly to the Chiapas Mexican farmers. Drop by the site today, order a bag or two, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Available in original or with our Immune Support Infusion Blend. You will be supporting a free press, all the while enjoying a truly great-tasting cup of my favorite coffee. Available at InfoWarsLife.com. The facts are in. The studies are legion. Sodium fluoride and other toxic members of the fluoride family are devastating the health and cognitive ability of the American people. So why are the social engineers adding it to the water? Simple. Dumb down the host population that the parasitic technocracy is feeding on. We may not have been able to get fluoride out of the water supply yet, but we can help to get it out of our bodies. I am extremely excited to announce the exclusive InfoWars Life Fluoride Shield formulation, fusing 6 of the best documented ingredients from around the world to help the body remove not just toxic fluoride residues from the body, but a whole host of toxic substances. Let's take a stand against the globalists by blocking their poisons with Fluoride Shield. I use Fluoride Shield every day. Secure your Fluoride Shield and other pioneering formulations at InfoWarsLife.com today. Let's start cleansing our bodies now and support the InfoWar at the same time. That's InfoWarsLife.com. Why does the United States spend the largest percentage of GDP in the world on healthcare? Why do we have the highest cancer rates on the planet, the highest rates of diabetes, autism, and every other major disease? It all comes down to one thing. We are what we eat. Our food is devoid of nutrition and processed with poisons and additives. Our water is filled with toxic poisons and big pharma runoff. All of this has been engineered by design. We can turn the tide against the eugenicist by giving ourselves the nutrients our body desperately needs. To learn more, visit InfoWarsHealth.com. The site is literally packed with audio and video featuring top health professionals who don't bow down to big pharma. The fight against the New World Order starts with you, and you can't stand against the machine if you're sick, tired, and obese. When you visit InfoWarsHealth.com, be sure and check out the catalog with nearly 400 life-changing products, and get free shipping when you sign up for AutoShip.
We now take you live to the Central Texas Command Center and the heart of the resistance. It's Alex Jones.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. For the balance of the hour, we've got Harry Dent, harrydent.com, joining us. And, of course, he is the founder of Dent Research, an economic forecasting firm that really has an accurate record, as reported by CNBC and others, that specializes at demographic trends. He's going to be talking about that today, not just here, but Germany and its demographic cliff. And his mission is helping people understand change using exciting new research development from years of hands-on business experience. Mr. Dent offers tools for seeking key economic trends that will affect every aspect of your life. And he was one of the top folks at Bain Capital, obviously tracking those trends to be able to make successful decisions for that company. And he has his MBA from Harvard Business School, worked at Bain & Company as a strategy consultant for Fortune 100 companies. Here's the headline out of CNBC. Get ready for the Dow at 16,000 by 2016, says a pro. And he broke that down with them a few weeks ago, so I wanted to get him on. I really appreciate him coming on harrydent.com. And he wants to get into 2014, the year of defaults for China, and Germany falls off the demographic cliff, and how that affects us here, and when we hit our baby boomer demographic cliff, and more. Mr. Dent, thanks for coming on.
Nice to be here, Alex.
Well, break it down for us. Well, first off, I'd like to cover this Dow at 6,000 by 2016 and then get into the demographic cliff.
Well, I'll explain other reasons, but there's a big pattern in the stock market that should be more obvious to people. We've seen 3 bubbles now, one that peaked in 2000 and 2007, and then now each bubble has gone to new highs, but each crash in between has gone to new lows. So this is called a megaphone pattern. It's a very similar pattern to how the stock market peaked the last time a generation peaked in the late 60s, early 70s. There were 3 tops at higher highs and then a big crash in 73, 74. This would project that the Dow is going to hit about 17,000 in the next couple months, and then it's going to fall in the next couple years to just below 6,000. So that's a bigger crash than last time. That's like a 65% drop. So this is not something you should listen to your stockbroker and say, oh, just stay the course, stocks will come back. When stocks have peaked with major generational spending peaks like in 1929 and 1968, stocks did not get back to those levels for 24 to 25 years. So we're in, I think, for the largest downturn in our life. It's going to be very much like the 1930s, what I call a big debt detox. So people really need, I actually took a 70% cut in my advance from my publisher to get the Demographic Cliff book out early this year, because I think we're close to a top here, and I think people need to make some very hard decisions.
I agree. I want to talk about that book again, but expanding on this, you're not the only analyst saying this, and we see governments creeping towards the pension funds, both the public and private, the IRAs, all of it. They're going to, quote, save it, I guess, when the plunge comes by taking it over and taxing it. Seems to be what they're openly saying they're going to do. I don't think a lot of this is hidden, but I'm not hearing a larger discussion of it.
Well, people should be worried. Taxes are going to have to go up. The government has promised entitlements it can never, ever, ever pay, especially in a difficult economy that I'm painting and seeing for the next 6 to 10 years. Our population forecasts are much higher than they're going to actually be. Births are falling. Immigration falls in times like this. And this is what happened in the 1930s. So yeah, taxes are going to go up in all different types of ways, and especially more affluent people. If you don't protect your wealth from this bubble burst and protect your wealth from taxes, you're going to be in for a big surprise in the next several years.
I want to get more into that and what your book breaks down, the technicals, but specifically, how would you protect your wealth for the average person?
Well, here's the thing to understand that we warn people about. This only happens once in a lifetime. It's a bubble boom bursting, a debt bubble bursting. And when that happens, all financial assets go down. And all you have to do is go back and look at the crash in 2008. Stocks went down here and around the world, large cap, small cap, Asia, Europe, emerging countries. Real estate went down. Commodities went down. Gold and silver went down. And everybody was told, well, you can protect yourself with gold and silver, not in a deflationary crash, an inflationary recession or crisis like the 1970s. Gold and silver was great. It will not do well in this. So you basically have to take your profits off the table, get safe. I mean, you can short the markets if you want, but that takes some guts and that's risky. But if you just get in safe investments, when everything falls, you're going to be able to buy stocks, 20, 30, 40 cents on the dollar. I mean, real estate, 30, 40 cents on the dollar and everything else. So that's the trick. That's what Joseph Kennedy did in the Great Depression. He got out of the stock market at the top. When his shoeshine boy was telling him to buy stock, he said, oh, man, this thing's got to be over. Same thing. I had every cab driver giving me internet tips in late 99. I knew that one was about over. And then he just bought when things were down, and he made a fortune.
That's right. And so it's an opportunity for those that are positioned beforehand. Looking at that, though, obviously there's a race devaluing currencies, and I guess the establishment thinks, well, if there's actually a depressionary thing coming, that will somehow balance out. How does the inflation on the dollar and other currencies then tie into a deflationary situation in the rest of the economy?
Well, the one thing, Alex, deflation is good for the dollar. When we started to deflate and debt started to deleverage in late 2008, the U.S. dollar went up 27%. It was the only thing that did go up versus other currencies. Now, the reason this happens, people don't understand, and this is something we have to argue with the gold bugs about constantly, but the U.S. dollar fell 58% from 1985 at its high in the Reagan era down to the beginning of this recession in early 2008 where it bottomed. 58%. The reason is we created massive amounts of debts, trade deficits, and now QE on top of that. We've created massive amounts of money, and that devalues, that debases the currency. We debase the dollar in the boom. When you get this bubble burst, when debt deleverages, you're destroying money. When financial assets go and a Dow goes from 17,000 to 6,000, that is destroying 2/3 of people's wealth in the stock market overnight. Less dollars chasing the same goods is the definition of deflation, and that's how you get deflation. But less dollars also means they're more scarce, and we're reversing the debasement of our currency. So really, this crisis is exactly what would put the dollar back in balance, would make real estate more affordable for young families again, stocks, better long-term investments, all this sort of stuff. We need this reset, and governments just don't want it to happen because nobody wants the music to stop on their chair. Everybody wants the crisis to hit the next administration. Sure. So central banks and politicians around the world just keep printing money to cover over the crisis, keep the banks from falling over. The banks would have gone under, a lot of them. We had a 1930s scenario building, and you know what? As bad as the 30s were, we had a huge debt detox, and we basically cut the debt from 190% of GDP in this country to 60% in the next several years, and that allowed us to grow again.
A 30-year boom. 30-year boom.
Yeah, an incredible boom to follow that. We came roaring out of it. We're not coming out of this. I cover in Chapter 2 in the book, I talk about the Japan coma economy. Japan has been doing this QE stuff since 1997 when they went off their demographic cliff, and I was one of the only people in the world that predicted the downturn of Japan in 1989. And they've been doing QE ever since. They have not deleveraged their debt. They have not rebalanced their economy.
Sure, I mean, undoubtedly you're right. That's why they call you, top pro and CNBC. But let's just expand on this then in layman's terms for folks. With what the global policies are right now versus what we think they should be, what do you see happening in the next few years? Does this happen overnight? Does it happen in a process? I mean, I know generally, I know you don't have a crystal ball, but what do you see happening?
Well, we do kind of have a crystal ball. We predicted this downturn, Alex, by the way, in my first book in 1989. We predicted the simultaneous collapse of Japan in the 90s and the greatest boom in history and the greatest stock market surge in history for the United States and Europe. What we do is we look at demographics. People enter the workforce age 20, earn and spend more money, raising their kids and families, buying houses, borrowing money, and they peak at age 46. Now, everybody doesn't, but the average person spends the most money in their life at age 46. So the simplest indicator I have of many, but I call it the spending wave, we just move forward the birth index in any developed country and move it forward 46 years for that peak in spending where people will have the highest impact, the highest numbers. And that would have told me, and it did tell me in 1988, that we had a boom from 1983 with baby boomers that was going to last until about 2007, and then the baby bust would slow down our economy, less spending, less house buying, less borrowing, all those things until about 2023. So we predicted these demographic headwinds and that we would go into a crisis starting in 2008 just with demographic. But there's another factor that's equally important. We've seen the greatest debt bubble, which then in turn fueled the greatest real estate bubble in modern history. Debt got up to about 4 times GDP in this country versus 190% at the top of the roaring 29 bubble, so twice as much debt. And that doesn't count $67 trillion in unfunded entitlements.
Well, that's my question. How do those two bubbles collapsing go together? They go down at the same time? Or
yeah. Well, that's what happened. At some point, when this QE doesn't work or something triggers, like last time, the subprime crisis in the U.S. triggered stock crashes and debt crises around the world. Because all it takes is a trigger when demographics are slowing and debt is twice as high as it's ever been in history and 4 times if you count entitlements. All it takes is something to pop the bubble. I think it's going to be Germany. Going off, Germany's downturn looks just like Japan's did to us in the late 80s. It's the steepest downturn in demographic spending of any country in the world at this point. And China's got off the charts, and I mean off the charts, real estate and debt bubble. They have overbuilt everything in their economy 10, 12, 15 years ahead and moved people, 220 million people in 12 years into cities with no skills. They got 27%.
It's a time bomb. It's a time bomb.
It's an absolute time bomb. It's an urban disaster. These people aren't even registered citizens in these cities. They're like illegal Mexicans in the United States. They're tolerated in a boom. They will not be tolerated in a bust, and they get no benefits, no education, no health care.
Harry Dent, stay there. This is incredible. I want to hear about how these time bombs go off together. Wow.
Clean water at home, clean water at the office, clean water on the go. The Berkey Guy has a Berkey water filtration model for anywhere you are and one that fits any budget. Thousands of satisfied customers can't be wrong. For free shipping within the U.S., go to goberkey.com or call 877-886-3653. That's 877-886-3653. Helping thousands prepare since 2005, goberkey.com.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit and carting to a private bank, having it lent back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Ted Anderson, I'm placing a free silver dollar in a book that explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
Ladies and gentlemen, America is more dangerous than ever, with 9 million property crimes last year. Crimes are happening every day. Be proactive and protect your home and family. Simply Safe Home Security System helps guard against criminals, thugs, and thieves. Listen, Simply Safe is the absolute best alarm system and company in America today. Here's why. We offer a 60-day money-back guarantee. It's affordable, no contracts to sign, and is built with the latest wireless technology. Simply Safe protects the ones you love the most, even if a criminal cuts your power and phone lines. When you order Simply Safe today, you'll receive a 10% discount along with a free keychain remote. Don't wait. This offer is only valid through February 28th. Take advantage of this special discount offer at GetSimplySafe.com. That's GetSimplySafe.com. Protect your home and family now at GetSimplySafe.com.
It's been said, those who control the food control the people. Are you concerned about GMO foods making you sick and affecting your mind? Many people suffer from lack of energy, insomnia, loss of stamina, weight gain, and the inability to think clearly. Genetically modified crops, processed foods, and toxic chemicals can compromise your health and are silently destroying your digestive system, which accounts for 80% of your immune system. Take back control of your health with Pro EM1 Probiotic from Terraganics. Pro EM1 Probiotic helps protect your body against irritable bowel syndrome, constipation, Crohn's disease, celiac disease, diabetes, the common cold, and much more. And including a powerful probiotic like Pro EM1 as part of your daily routine, puts you back in control and prevents you from becoming a mindless zombie manipulated by the pharmaceutical and GMO agendas. Call Terraganics at 866-369-3678 or visit Terraganics.com. TerraGanix.com.
Right now at Emergency Essentials, get free shipping on every order over $150. And that's not all. We have the guaranteed lowest prices anywhere, like our new Farmer's Market vegetable combo that's on sale for 50% off. That's 6 cans of freeze-dried veggies for only $79.99. Or get Mountain House pork chops for 22% off. Call Emergency Essentials at 800-999-1863 or click BePrepared.com. The choice is clear. Be unprepared or BePrepared.com.
Did you know that gold and silver contain healing properties? It's true. Since the beginning of mankind's history, gold and silver have not only been used as real money, but also for healing our minds and bodies. UtopiaSilver.com is your leading source for colloidal silver and colloidal gold supplement protocols that can heal and enhance your health. Call 888-213-4338 or visit utopiasilver.com for weekly discounts and sales. That's UTOPIAsilver.com. Fighting for liberty and healing one American at a time.
Alex Jones here, back live. Harry Dent is our guest for the balance of the hour. I will give the phone number out after we clear the phone lines. I'm sorry to all those that are holding patiently. We're going to shift gears to another subject at the start of the next segment, the economy, and we will take a few phone calls for our guest. He's got his new book out dealing with this, and I mean, I don't just immediately believe whatever I read. He's had so many predictions that have come accurately true. He, of course, was a big strategist at Bain Capital that has to understand the future of companies and things to make the right decisions with what they do in acquisitions or in sales. But when you look at this is all the big governments talk about, is the demographic cliffs. You've got from Italy to Japan to Russia to Germany to England to the whole UK, the US, Canada. You got a 1.4, 1.3, 1.5 replacement rate. You need 2.1 children, parents to have 2.1 children on average to just replace the society. So it's not just a demographic boom cliff we're at. It's that the death of the West that Pat Buchanan wrote about a decade ago. So you were getting into China and the time bomb, and they've got all their crazy problems in just empty ghost cities they've built. And then you've got all the government corruption going on and no real social goals, and then a police state being set up. I mean, where is it all going to go as all these countries go off the cliff in the next 5 years?
Well, you know, it can only go one direction. Japan's already showed us what happened. Japan was the first country to see their baby boom peak. They had a real estate bubble. People thought real estate can never go down. I said, no, this bubble's going to burst. Their stock bubble burst. So that's what happens. Wealth gets destroyed suddenly, then real estate goes down. People don't realize real estate's down 60% in Japan and never has bounced 22 years later because you got more older people dying, and they're sellers of real estate, than young people who buy between the age of 27 and 42. I mean, we know exactly when people buy home. So people don't realize the consequences. Not only is the baby boom peaking in more and more countries, and when it does, you see these bubbles burst, you see real estate go down, you see stocks collapse, then that causes bad loans in banks, and then they fail, and then that destroys debt, and that destroys money, as I said. These bubbles do burst. Japan already burst, and everybody's thinking, well, that's just Japan. Well, the U.S. came next. We predicted that. Europe is the next major region to see a major downturn in demographic spending, starting with Germany, the steepest, the UK, Austria, and then Italy. But then all these countries go off the cliff. And East Asia, Japan's gone off, but South Korea comes a few years from now. China is the first emerging country to see their workforce peak. It's already slowing. It'll slow a bit the next 10 years, and then they go off the cliff. An emerging country. All other emerging countries have incredible demographic trends for decades to come. So this is predictable stuff. But the important part, as I was saying earlier, with all this debt and all these real estate bubbles around the world, and the real estate bubble in China is far more overvalued than anywhere else, and then with high vacancy rates. I mean, can you imagine a real estate market where you got 27% of condos vacant and prices are still going up?
So what happens? NASA came out with a report yesterday and said the end of industrialized society. The British Ministry of Report in 2007 was classified but leaked, saying they believe in basically global total collapse, and the governments are digging in for that. Why not try to reverse this? Is there any way to reverse it?
You know, the only thing you do, you could learn a lesson from business, governments could. I call it Chapter 11. You know, they used to have Chapter 7 bankruptcy, which they have, where you just basically a fire sale, you sell the assets, distribute the proceeds to creditors, and you're over. Well, that's a dumb way to do it. The United States came up with the innovation of Chapter 11, where the courts protect a company long enough for it to sell off its assets in more orderly, not a fire sale, to cut costs, and most importantly, to renegotiate debts with creditors. You go to your creditors and say, look, if we go on fire sale, you're going to get 10 cents on the dollar if you're lucky. But if you let us write down your debt to us 50%, which is a win-win for you, then we'll be able to continue forward. We need to restructure the debt. It wasn't just the $17 trillion in government debt. We created $42 trillion in private debt. And that debt, basically, most of it was created under George Bush between 2000 and 2008, during the bubble part of the boom. If we just wrote that debt back down to pre-bubble levels, we would get rid of $22 trillion of debt overnight. Now, the banks would have to take hits, but they're the ones that should take the hits. They're the ones that lent this money to unsophisticated...
They're the ones that created the derivatives.
Yeah, they created the derivatives that financial institutions need to take this hit, not Homer Simpson. And Homer Simpson's been taking the hit with underwater mortgages, falling real wages.
If they do that again, they're going to kill Homer Simpson. And then who are the banks going to live off of if they kill the golden goose? I want to ask you that and talk about your book that breaks this down that obviously everybody needs to read. Harry Dent, harrydent.com is our guest. And I'll tell you what's scary. Everything he's saying is right there if you follow the news, folks. We'll be right back to break down his forecast.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Introducing Pro One. All of your filtration in one system, portable, on the go. No more do you have 2 or 3 filters to just reduce sodium fluoride. You have a system that cuts out the sodium fluoride and up to 95% of hydrofluorosilicic acid. Advanced manufacturing technology combines silver-impregnated white ceramic with new Aquamedics advanced media for removal of fluoride and other heavy metals, all in one filter element. It is the only one that does it, and out of the gate, we have it discounted at 10% off with promo code WATER. This is the only system that in one unit helps reduce or remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, ammonia, and chlorine, hydrofluorosilicic acid, the most common form of fluoride not covered by other fluoride filter brands, and sodium hexafluorosilicate. Get your Pro Pure with the new Pro One filters today at InfoWarsStore.com or by calling 888-253-3139. In the last 50 years, iodine has been phased out of our staple foods and replaced with the halogen bromine, a practice now banned in nations around the world. Guess what else is in the halogen family? Fluoride. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. In 1924, the federal government did the right thing and encouraged salt producers to add iodine. It's the good halogen on the periodic table, and the results are on record. Reports documented a 15-point IQ increase in areas that had previously been deficient in iodine. Bottom line, iodine is important. Unbound, clean, in a glycerin base. Nascent iodine was the answer for myself and my family. You will find Survival Shield Nascent Iodine exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWars Life Survival Shield Nascent Iodine isn't just for emergencies. I take it every day. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. Alex Jones here to tell you about how you can help spread liberty worldwide while also enjoying what I have found to be the best tasting 100% organic coffee on the planet. For more than a decade, my favorite coffee has come from the high mountains of southern Mexico, where the Chiapas farmers grow their unique shade-grown Arabica beans. We have now managed to secure these sought-after beans in a highly customized blend. Discover and try a bag of the Patriot Blend 100% organic coffee at InfoWarsLife.com. This coffee gives you a long, smooth pick-me-up for hours without the headaches and heartburn that so many other coffees give me personally. Hands down, this is my favorite coffee, and it's taken us years to secure connection connections directly to the Chiapas Mexican farmers. Drop by the site today, order a bag or two, and I don't think you're going to be disappointed. Available in original or with our Immune Support Infusion Blend. You will be supporting a free press, all the while enjoying a truly great tasting cup of my favorite coffee. Available at InfoWarsLife.com.
It's always a tough vote because the average person thinks raising the debt ceiling must mean that we're running up our debt. Raising the debt ceiling, which has been done over 100 times, does not increase our debt. It does not somehow promote profligacy. All it does is it says you got to pay the bills that you've already racked up, Congress.
Just got paid today. Got me a pocket full of change.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
Said I just got paid today. Got me a pocket full of
Top economic forecaster specializing in demographic trends. Harry Dent joins us. I wanted to talk about his book coming out and break that down here in a moment. And I want to go back to the CNBC report. Get ready for the Dow at 6,000 by 2016. If I look at the socialist groups in government and some of the big banks that work with them who always want to saddle Homer Simpson with their bad bets and their derivatives and other counterfeit instruments, their plan is clearly set up at the police state, being done worldwide. They're financing that. And then, as things collapse, pose like they're the savior and take over the pension funds, the private pension funds, the government pension funds, and really not even scale back a lot of the payments and things that former government workers and others are going to be getting that are clearly unsustainable. And so they don't take a haircut. Everybody else does. And if you don't like it, well, Homeland Security now basically lists not liking the Federal Reserve policy as terrorism. And the Tea Party is terrorist, and returning veterans are dangerous, and gun owners. We see the move now to use Northcom, Homeland Security, as a domestic control arm in the storm that's coming, and that they're going to use the economic crisis to get everybody on welfare, basically, use the scaled-up industrial capacity to at least give people their bread and circus. Even though it's scaling down, it's still scaled up from whatever was in history to where they can give people their baubles, their bread and circuses, and then in exchange convert us to a authoritarian system where the big banks are above the law with corporate diplomatic immunity ruling over us with a form of global governance and $100 trillion every decade in carbon taxes to fund and back their SDRs. Now, Mr. Dent, from what I've studied, you study demographics. I study the wide spectrum, but I know you study that as well. You're one of the smartest guys out there on record when it comes to predicting things. Do you disagree with the gestalt I just threw out, or do you add something to it? Because it looks like this is pretty well planned out to me.
Well, yeah, that is the trend. Governments kind of take more power, and things go wrong. It gives them a reason to step in. I say it's even worse than that, Alex, because what they're doing here is killing the golden goose. They're rejecting the free market capitalist system that made us so rich. That requires booms and busts, inflation and deflation, innovation, creative destruction. You have to have failure as part of the system. It doesn't work without success and failure, and they're just saying, no, nothing can fail. We can't let big companies go under. We can't let banks that made terrible loans go under. And we can't flush this debt out of our system. Like you say, the best thing that could happen for the average household is they get their mortgage written down to what the house is now worth. And I see houses going down much more in the next crisis. So I think the only saving grace for me, Alex, because politically we'll never deal with these entitlements. We'll never deal with this debt. We'll never let government kind of give up their control of the economy. We're going to have a crisis. The government's going to have to fail. People are going to have to lose faith in central banks, quantitative easing, which is just like taking more and more of a drug to keep coming down off the high. That's all it does. Creating money out of thin air. That's another way to create debt, just like bank loans that get too high. We need to basically have a crisis so we can have a revolution, because this is not going to happen politically. And I think you're right. The government's almost, in some ways, a crisis would give them the chance to step in and have more control and you know, martial law and stuff at times. But I think what's going to happen is the crisis is going to be so bad that people are going to lose faith in governments, and especially China. Now, you know, economists say, oh, China's like the new state capitalism, the new model. Wow, look how great they're doing. China, to me, mark my words, is going to prove that governments don't know how to manage economies and shouldn't manage economies. They should just set clear, good, simple rules and let the free markets work and let them go up and down and let them succeed and let them fail. Let them invest, let them innovate. They're killing the golden goose. So to me, it's even worse than what you're saying, because you kill capitalism, and we're already aging. We're already going to slow just from aging and slowing demographics. Like you say, no replacement rates for most populations, and we're better than most because of, you know, we have higher than Japan or Germany. But man, China has really gone off the reservation. If we're printing money, they're printing condos and just building railroad stations and bridges and highways and office buildings and malls that are empty in cities and whole cities. So this is the craziest thing that ever happened. To me, if we don't have a crisis soon, we're in real trouble.
I agree with you, but the establishment cannot stand to let things be somewhat free, even somewhat. They've got to micromanage it. They've got to give the insiders the knowledge. They've got to bail out Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan and then sign the debt onto us and have the media a year later say, I mean, in 2008, it was their fault. A year later, it was how I was in debt. I was bad. I owed the trillions. I owed, you know, millions of dollars to the government in the aggregate. A total fraud. But I got to say, Mr. Dent, a lot of it lies with the public. If the public politically is so mesmerized with Justin Bieber and LeBron James and all the rest of the propaganda and have had liberty and wealth so long that the public, not everybody, but a large portion of them are delusional, dumbed down, stupid, lazy, give me a handout, scum who literally look at me and think I need to pay more so they can sit on their butts. A, do you agree with that? B, what happens when it all goes to hell in a handbasket? I see the hordes of them voting in a democracy, not a republic, two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner, to literally politically bring in authoritarianism and absolutely make the producers their slaves, or a French Revolution. I mean, every angle of this, I just see bad to worse.
Well, you know, yeah, I would add to that we're also spoiled. We've had the greatest boom in history, really since World War II, but especially 1983 to 2007, and that was just a 46-year lag that we show in the demographic clip, as simple as economic tool, just a 46-year lag on the baby boom birth index. So this baby boom created a great boom, but we thought, hey, yeah, everybody's supposed to retire with $100,000 a year pensions and you know, all this, you know, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. We can't even afford the health care we had, and now we're expanding it. Paul Ryan's plan wasn't even close to what it would take to balance out entitlement. So we're spoiled, and I think we need reality. And I've got to hope that when things go down, if we have a big enough crisis, people will realize, I mean, governments, economists, businesses, and everyday people realize we're bankrupt. We're not bankrupt like Chapter 7, because we're still the largest country in the world, and we got better demographics than most of our competitors. But we cannot go on with these debt levels and these entitlements.
We've got to right the ship.
We got to wake up and get real. We got to wake up and smell the coffee. And I think that's what the good thing is. People realize. I used to turn around companies at Bain & Company, and I did it with small business as well. And when a company's really in a crisis, people get real really quick, and you can make changes. You can fire half the people, and people agree to it because they realize if we don't fire half the people, 100% of us are going to lose our jobs, and the company's going to die. So people get more clear. So I've got some level of faith that when we have a crisis, people will wake up and they will get smarter about things. And then they'll listen. I hate this. I mean, most people don't listen to people like me. Oh, I'm too bearish. Look, I've been bullish for 20-some years. I predicted this great boom when nobody saw it coming, and predicted the fall of Japan and all these other countries to follow. But they'll start listening to people who told them the right things. Everybody's telling them it's okay. Warren Buffett, of all people, is getting out there saying it's okay. The government's doing the right thing. How can the right thing be printing trillions of dollars out of thin air to cover over a debt crisis. How could that possibly be the right thing?
And then signing us on to more debt, and then Obama saying raising debt doesn't raise debt.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, I agree. We should just there has to be a standard. It can't be gold anymore because gold isn't big enough and consistent enough with the new economy. But we need standards that say debt can only grow this fast compared to GDP and can only reach certain limits. You can't allow unlimited debt, and that's what we've done. We have run trade deficits since the early 70s. We've run budget deficits except for a few years, and they got bigger in the boom. Even Keynes, or that crazy guy, wish he never invented his theory, but at least he said governments should run surpluses in booms and then run deficits to balance out the private economy. But we've been running budget deficits in booms and busts. You can't, and debt grew at 2.7 times GDP from 1983 to 2008. You can't have debt grow that much faster in the economy and not end up bankrupt and in a debt crisis. Any economist that didn't see this coming doesn't know their ass from a hole in the wall.
That's right. Let's talk about gold. I have gold as an emergency backup hedge for collapse, for inflation, for whatever it is. Literally like pirates, bury your gold. That's what I've got it for. I don't have it as an investment. And I bought most of my gold between $300 and $500 an ounce. So even if it plunges or even goes up, whatever, I've got it. I'm not selling it until, we ever go to a road warrior situation. And then I know it'll have some value. But separate from that, I mean, are we talking about raw land? Are we talking about skills? I mean, for the average person, what do you do?
Well, again, gold is in a bubble. I was debating Peter Schiff in St. Kitts, and I know you know him, and he's saying gold's not in a bubble. I said gold went up almost 7 times between 2000 and 2011. That's a bubble. We said gold's a bubble. It's going to be the last bubble to burst. It is bursting. I think gold's going to see $700 an ounce by 2016 when the Dow is at 5,000 or 6,000, and I think it's going to see 250 to 400 around the turn of the next decade before a big commodity cycle bottoms. I mean, commodities peak every 29, 30 years like a clock. So I don't agree with the gold bugs on that. And the truth is there is nowhere to go. You put your money in safe stuff, liquid cash, and cash flow is king in a deflationary crisis. And then if you want stuff, I want stuff I can trade. I want shotgun shells, I want little bourbon bottles. I want silver coins even more than gold.
No, I agree. I got more silver than gold.
Yeah, silver's great for exchanging and buying stuff. Food, dried foods and stuff, cans of tuna. In a crisis, that's the sort of stuff that people are going to want.
Harry, this is scary because I study this every day as a layman from every angle, and any way you look at it, it runs from horrible to apocalyptic. And absolutely, I tell my listeners do this is what I've been doing. And I've got family that's awake, but some family that says, you've been saying this for so long, they don't believe it because I was so visionary. But if you study history, these cycles are there. And now I look at the U.S. government, the British Defense Ministry, all the universities, all their internal prospectuses actually say what you're saying. But just like Japan, for 20-plus years has denied they're even in a recession. They've been in a depression. I mean, they're literally having mass mental illness, just collapsing over there. But if you read a Japanese newspaper, they say they're doing fine. And I see that same scenario here. We just slide into this depression, and then they just keep denying it forever. It's mass mental illness.
Well, and the best way of denial is quantitative easing. You just keep throwing money in the economy like taking more of a drug to keep from coming down. That's all they're doing is masking it over. We're not facing reality. And again, Japan has proven they have an echo boom generation. Their economy should have turned up again around 2003 by our demographics. And it didn't very much. And they went back in a downturn. It's because they've never dealt with their debt. They've never let their economy rebalance. You have to rebalance. The free market system knows how to do this, just like your body does if you eat bad sushi. It'll just flush it out any way it can. That's what the economy was trying to do. Flush out this debt, flush out these asset bubbles, flush out these derivatives. We're on steroids, and we're going to die from it and be in a coma forever if we don't deal with this. So I'm just waiting for the darn crisis to happen.
What's the time frame? The next year, too?
No, I think we're within a month or two of a stock top. Stocks will go first, and then real estate and economy will follow. The economy goes down, you're going to have bad bank loans rack up very quickly. Real estate.
Oh, you're saying 6 months to a year.
Be in big trouble. Yeah, I say it starts this year, and I think the biggest trigger, it may not be the first trigger, but the biggest trigger that makes this a crisis that central banks like the Federal Reserve cannot fight, if that China bubble bursts, and it's already showing the cracks, they're having wealth management products and institutions blow up and start to default, and it's happening more and more. That bubble, people don't understand. The Chinese, the rich Chinese, top 10% control 60% of income, 50% of consumer spending, 85% of the real estate and financial assets, and they save 65 to 70% of their money. And they invest it all in real estate. They don't like stocks and bonds, and their stock market's been a total roller coaster.
They also buy gold.
Yeah, and they buy gold. So if their wealth collapses because this real estate bubble collapses, they're going to stop buying real estate around the world. They're going to have to stop investing. They're going to stop spending, and China will implode. Everybody says there's going to be a soft landing in China. You don't have an extreme bubble.
They're already having thousands of riots a month.
Yeah, and then the rich people are leaving the country voluntarily. They are leaving. When I was just in Australia for 3 weeks promoting the book and stuff and lecturing, and it's like Chinese are buying everything in Australia, and they're buying Southern California, San Francisco, Vancouver, London, New York.
They're evacuating.
People are keeping the bubble going. When they stop buying like the Japanese did in the early 90s, we're going to see real estate bubbles collapse around the world, especially in the most bubbly cities. This is going to be a major crisis because real estate is what really hits people.
Well, Harry Dent, I mean, I've had you on before, and you've never been this wound up. I mean, you're really concerned.
No, I am. I mean, again, I cut the demographic clip. I went to I had to change publishers and cut my advance 70% because I said this book, my publisher wanted to get out in September. I said, it's going to be over by then. We're going to be into the crisis. I want to warn people before it happens because this only happens once in a lifetime. That's why, like you say, people are delusional. They don't understand this. A depression like this, a debt detox, whatever you want to call it, a deflationary crisis only happens once in a lifetime. So people don't see it coming. They don't understand it, and they don't know what to do when it happens. This book tells you from A to Z what's going to happen, what's going to go bad, how,
I want to carry it.
What investments are going to go down, and what to do about it. There is this can be the most profitable time in your life if you simply see the inevitable while everybody else is in delusion and denial.
Wow. Man, we got to get you back sooner. I promised to go to calls. We only got like 10 minutes left. We're going to break in a minute. RB wants to talk to the guest from Minnesota. You're on the air with Mr. Dent. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hi, Alex. Hi, Harry. I've really noticed that in the wake of the NGO/EU/USA-backed illegal coup of the democratically elected president of Ukraine, all these big central banks have just been salivating like dogs around a dog bowl. It's just disgusting. And then on top of that, you see like the big world vampire squid, the EU and the junior world vampire squid, Goldman Sachs, is salivating like dogs. What do you think is going to happen there?
Well, this is something we also cover in the book. We have a geopolitical cycle, and I don't know what causes, but 18 years we'll have a good world where nothing goes wrong, like 1983 to 2000. Then from 2001, starting with 9/11 and the tech wreck, and going all the way through the Iraq War, Afghanistan War, the Syria, the Arab Spring, the Indian Spring, and now Russia and Ukraine. We just had a series of political challenges, geopolitical problems around the world. I think this is going to get worse. I think, it's kind of a little bit like Hitler, where Putin says, okay, we took over Crimea, but they wanted us anyway. We're not going any farther. He wants Ukraine. He wants to rebuild the Soviet Union. Russia has some of the worst demographics in the world ahead. In fact, they're one of the few countries that has a declining life expectancy because they're drinking themselves to death. If you ever watch a Russian movie, you'd understand why. I think this is going to get worse. And this geopolitical cycle doesn't turn positive until 2020. So we got 6 more years of this sort of stuff. So expect more of this. Expect more geopolitical conflicts. Expect more problems in the Middle East.
But that's
as well.
the way to see these governments is they're all like vampire squid, like the caller said, trying to just grab something to eat it. So it's like 2 vampire squid trying to grab Ukraine and absorb it.
Well, that's what they want. They're like a business. They want to gain market share. Like you said earlier, they want to gain more control over the economy. The economy works best when there's just good, solid rules, and you do need rules to the game. But and then you let the private economy innovate and grow and rebalance itself.
Should we bring Glass-Steagall back?
Government controlling everything.
Should we bring Glass-Steagall back?
Yeah, that you need. Banks should not. You shouldn't have all these people in all these businesses. Banks should be banks. Investment banks should be investment banks. Brokerage firms should be brokerage firms. Investment firms. I don't even like brokerage firms and investment firms being mixed up, because now the broker's going to sell you their own stuff, whether it's in your interest or not. I mean, that's what they're going to be motivated to do. I think the financial institutions, that's the biggest thing. If we just let each sector do what they do and don't let them cross over, that would eliminate a lot of the problems we've had.
Well, I totally agree with you. And again, people need to get honest with themselves as a culture, that we're not just here putting out fear. This is what's going on. You can debate exactly how the cookie's going to crumble, but societally, the denial has to end first, to have a real debate, to then give the political class the courage to do the right thing, because not everybody in the power structure is bad. And a lot of the people in the power structure are scared right now. They just can't get the public to make the right decisions either.
No, that's right. I mean, that is what's needed. And my problem is, usually I get on CNBC. I'm glad to be on here and have more time. And I got 3 minutes to explain this. I can't explain this in 3 minutes. I spent 6 to 7 hours with audiences in Brisbane and Sydney and Australia, and really got to educate people A to Z about this. And once you do, there is no debate. People agree with me because we're looking at the facts. We're looking at reality, like you say, and this is undeniable. We prove everything we say. Everything I say in the book, there's a graph to show the correlation and show whether this is actually. I've read books 700 pages long, not a graph on them on economics. How can you do that? So if people have time to get educated on this, they will see. People are not stupid if it's explained to them correctly, but it's not. Like you say, everybody, governments and different businesses and institutions all have their motives, and nobody's telling you the truth. I don't work for anybody. I'm not at Merrill Lynch or some major company. I can say what I find, whether it's bullish or bearish, and then no matter what political persuasion it may fall under at the time, I can say what I need to say to people. And I tell you, most people cannot tell you the truth. Your stockbroker cannot tell you the truth. Absolutely cannot. They would be fired from their firm if they did.
So let's go back to the other phone calls here and see what they have to say. Let's talk to Justin quickly in Florida. Go ahead, Justin.
Just want to say great points. I agree with what you're saying here, and good solutions too. I guess my other question is, since you pretty much touched on everything, is what do you make of the recent bankers dropping like flies?
Would you say bankers?
A lot of banker suicides, a lot of broker suicides, high-level people.
Oh, well, I mean, you know what happened in the 1930s. People were jumping off buildings. I mean, these people, I mean, a lot of them really need to be tried in criminal courts. A lot of what happened here in a lot of things. And when this thing fails, it is going to hit financial institutions. It's going to hit New York City big time. Anybody who just bought a condo for $100 million is going to lose their ass on that. Rich people think you can't possibly lose buying in downtown Manhattan. This is going to especially hit financial institutions and their executives and people. So there's going to be way more of this ahead, and that's unfortunate, but that's just a reality.
There you go. Great question, Justin. Let's talk to Wilbur in New York. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex.
Yes, sir.
Hi, Harry. Harry, I get your newsletter, Boom and Bust. It's a good newsletter. Well, let me say, I do a lot of analysis like you do, microeconomics, technical, cyclical analysis, demographic analysis, like you do. My question to you is, given the massive housing real estate bubble that you talked about in China, which makes ours look like child's play, and now the Ukraine situation, where we have really the elites now are duking it out, how deep do you think this downturn, this next shoe down is going to be? I know Proctor Rob has got his opinions on it too. I'd like to see when you're thinking this is going to happen, because I'm absolutely seeing it. It's going to be within weeks to months, not years. How deep do you see it? And will this change the course of events, assuming the elites, don't knock themselves
they always try to start wars during this stuff, sir?
Yeah, bubbles burst, they always burst, and they go back to where they started or a little lower. The Dow has to get back to 3,800 just to erase the bubble. Housing has to go down 55% just to erase the bubble back to early 2000 when it started, and will probably go down 65%. So I see a much bigger housing downturn over the next several years. Stocks are going to probably go down in 2 waves. The next wave takes us, like you say, I think it's going to top by early May, if not earlier. It's 17,000 roughly. We're going to go 6,000, a little below, in the next plunge. Then we'll have a bounce after that for a year or two, and then by 2019 or 20, I think you're going to see 3,000 to 4,000 on the Dow. I love to debate Robert Crutcher because he says I'm too bullish. He's predicting 600 to 1,000.
Let's talk to Abe in California. Only got about 30 seconds for him to answer the question. Abe, ask your question.
Hey, peace be upon you. It's just a quick comment I wanted to make about the whole humanity situation and where we lie as a species. Look, we, mind, body, and spirit, need to rediscover ourselves. We need to immerse ourselves in the natural 5 senses. Then when we will discover the 6th sense, which is essentially the pineal gland.
I hear we got to go, man, because there's a question. But we do have to get back to being real people again, and not just mindless consumers that believe whatever television says. Final comment, Mr. Dent.
Well, we have a 250-year revolution cycle. The last one was the American Revolution and the Industrial Revolution. So I think we are going to see a big revolution ahead. And I just tell people, read this book, The Demographic Cliff. I killed myself to get this thing out in time. And we've got a free newsletter. We've got paid newsletter like Boom and Bust. We have a free newsletter called Survive and Prosper. And all you do is go to harrydent.com, put in your email, and you're done.
Listen, I want to get you back more often than once a year.
Sure.
I want to invite you on the Nightly News.
Come back when we think this thing's going on. I think by May, June, we're going to be in trouble.
Man, I hope a lot of smart people are saying that. Thank you so much for the time.
Okay, thank you, Alex.
Powerful, pretty scary interview, and I see no fault of what the man says. I'm Alex Jones with Infowars.com. We're going to go a little bit of overdrive here when we come back. Infowars.com for the free audio streams. Your station doesn't carry it. Nightly News tonight, 7 o'clock. I'm telling you, government's digging in, folks. This is real. This is serious.
The facts are in. The studies are legion. Sodium fluoride and other toxic members of the fluoride family are devastating the health and cognitive ability of the American people. So why are the social engineers adding it to the water? Simple. Dumb down the host population that the parasitic technocracy is feeding on. We may not have been able to get fluoride out of the water supply yet, but we can help to get it out of our bodies. I am extremely excited to announce the exclusive InfoWars Life Fluoride Shield formulation, fusing 6 of the best documented ingredients from around the world to help the body remove not just toxic fluoride residues from the body, but a whole host of toxic substances. Let's take a stand against the globalists by blocking their poisons with Fluoride Shield. I use Fluoride Shield every day. Secure your Fluoride Shield and other pioneering formulations at InfoWarsLife.com today. Let's start cleansing our bodies now and support the InfoWar at the same time. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
All right, I didn't get to a bunch of news that I was going to cover in there because we had that guest on. But, man, and again, folks, that's from the whole Bain Capital angle, what you were just hearing. And that's the New World Order. That's Mitt Romney. But, I mean, he was there a long time ago, was very successful there, so split off in his own deal, just as an analyst on companies they were buying and things. And he is one of the most accurate predictors out there. And that's who we bring you, people that know what they're talking about. And it doesn't mean everything's going to happen just the way we say. But statistically, we're right more than other people. And my gut is what I follow. Not intellectually, I look at everything. Militarily, I look at everything. Societally, historically, spiritually. That last one, spiritually, your gut, your soul, your mind. I told you, bad moon rising last year. I've been saying that since October. I mean, it's just, it's My alarm bells are going off so hard now that I'm almost just calm. It's just like, we're already in it. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a time bomb when all this stuff goes deep six. And the reason I went into some overdrive was to make this point and take a few calls if we have time. I got to hit this news. I think I'm sorry, callers, we're done. Is that if we don't get our message of liberty out now, the socialists, the communists, the collectivists run by the big banks who are at war with the free market are going to scapegoat the free market and America and freedom for all the stuff that's happened. We certainly deserve some blame for letting it happen, but we didn't drive the bus. We're not captaining the ship. Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan are. You just heard Dent, formerly of Bain Capital, saying that. And they make a lot of the calls and advice to people at Goldman Sachs. This is really bad, okay? If we don't get the message out and blame who did it, we're going to get blamed. I just got chills. We're going to get blamed, and they are going to screw us up one side and down the other. The move is authoritarianism. The plan is authoritarianism. This has been done by design. He talks about creative destruction to build a better system through free market. They have creative destruction through socialism to destroy us so they are the ones left standing. The opposite of the type of creative destruction he was talking about, Milton Friedman style. And that's how folks get confused in economics, is they haven't studied the full spectrum of it. I have all the major schools, and let me tell you, all of them try to reflect the times they were in. They're not applicable to the time we're in now with the rigged computers, the high-frequency trading. It's rigged, folks, and that's what allows the establishment to do this. And they're gearing up for a controlled collapse to fully take over, and Dent just agreed with me. And everybody else agrees with me, because there's no doubt they're not going to let a good crisis go to waste. Other news I didn't get to here. This is up on drudgereport.com. It needs to get back on the front page of Infowars.com. Professor calls for climate change deniers to be imprisoned, wants to criminalize questioning of science and global warming. And, I mean, this was published by the university saying arrest people that don't agree in carbon taxes and all this stuff. I mean, these people are flaming authoritarian dirtbags. I mean, they should be run out on a rail. I'm for all free speech till you say arrest people for their speech. You understand? I'm all for free speech until people say, let's overthrow the freedom. That's the speech that isn't allowed. Is let's arrest people that don't agree with us. I mean, that is Hitlerian. That is Stalinistic. That's Maoistic. That is anathema. And I'm not saying... It's just so weaponized. They're coming after us. They're saying this everywhere. They're saying we're racist if we don't agree with them. It is a group of scum. People should go to that university who are there, have kids there, young people there, and this guy should be confronted. This guy wants to put you in a gulag, like I told you yesterday. You understand that? They're not playing games. They're coming for us. Get ready! Get ready! Get ready!
The Genesis Communications Network is one of America's premier broadcasters of captivating talk radio. We thank you for listening. Now, just imagine, there are thousands of people who are just as passionate about radio as you are. But what you may not realize is how easy and affordable it is to advertise with us. Radio commercials for your business could be heard on hundreds of radio stations across the U.S. every day. We can help you by creating an effective radio advertising campaign for your company. From script writing to producing your commercial, just like the one you're listening to right now. No other network provides the level of customer service we do. When it comes to radio advertising, we are your one-stop shop. And no matter how big or small...
We're visiting top health professionals who don't bow down to big pharma. The fight against the New World Order starts with you. And you can't stand against the machine if you're sick, tired, and obese when you visit InfoWarsHealth.com. Be sure and check out the catalog with nearly 400 life-changing products. And get free shipping when you sign up for AutoShip. In the last 50 years,